So I know about the tradition of Wabash and the tradition of the Wabash and DePauw rivalry with Monon Bell. And I know it's a huge, huge game.
The players play because they love to play, and the passion and being the last game of the season and all the history in it, all wrapped up into one, just makes it one of the best rivalries every year.
The Monon Bell surpasses any game that I've ever played in as far as emotion and what's on the line. It's really like our Super Bowl.
You know, you're friends afterwards, but boy, during that game, you know, you're enemies, there's no question.
You are looking at East College on the campus of DePauw University in Greencastle, Indiana. That's where we are today as one of the greatest college rivalries of all time continues with the 108th meeting between Wabash, as they come in at 7-2, and DePauw University at 5-4. And we are about set to go, and guys, what a perfect day for a football game. You can hear the crowd as the tension begins to really mount now. And you can see the emotion being conjured up by the Wabash team. Here's the kickoff by Todd Bauer. Bauer boots it deep, taking a couple of yards deep in the end zone. Out across the 10 of the 15. Out near the 16 or 17-yard line, and the Wabash side of the stands explodes today.
Jerry, that is a big key for Wabash. Todd Bauer has struggled all year on kickoffs, barely able to get the ball inside the 15-yard line most of the season. That his deepest kickoff of the year, and it puts Wabash in a good spot on field position to start the game.
Todd and only Olmsted kind of share those kickoff duties. I was a little surprised to see Todd out there doing the job. Here comes DePauw with their outstanding quarterback in Jason Lee. They have outstanding running backs in Matt King, Jackson Rust, and Chris Brolsma. Great receivers in Reinhardt, Stevens, Shepard, Dan Ryan. Keep an eye on him, number 88, set out to the right side of the offensive unit. Out of the shotgun formation, Jason Lee. He will give the ball in the backfield. That with movement is John Stevens, and Stevens is knocked out of bounds on the far sideline, just shy of the 30-yard line. We will call Stevens' name today, David, an awful lot.
You can expect to hear his name called quite a bit. He's had a heck of a season. He is quick and very good with his feet, and he can make things happen.
So that is a first down situation, and defensively already, Joe, Wabash being put to a test.
They are, and now DePauw goes with a no-huddle offense. We'll see how Wabash reacts.
Very quickly back to the line of scrimmage. You see Jason Lee, who was going, as Joe mentioned, with that no-huddle offense, called into place in the line of scrimmage. Here's the pass up the middle. It is caught. Pass complete to Dan Ryan across midfield, across the 45, and down near the 35-yard line. Terrific throw by Lee to Dan Ryan, and he is like the Ryan Express.
Jerry, Dan Ryan could have been at a higher level if he was just a little quicker, but we like the fact that he's here. We'll take him. He's an excellent player, and as you see here, he's wide open down the field. Dan Ryan has great hands. He may not run away from anybody, but he'll catch the ball over the middle.
We haven't even had time to set the offense and the defense. We will get that done for you just as soon as we can, but this is a hurry-up offense, and Jason Lee runs this exceptionally well. Loves to throw the football, as do the guys on the other side of the football. But out on the pass on the far side, maybe back to the line of scrimmage, and that is about it. No gain that time for the DePauw Tigers.
Matt Mercer made the Wabash tackle, and the Little Giants spent a lot of time this week figuring out how to defend against the screen. Nick Morozes likes to screen and draw the Little Giants to death. That time Matt did a good job staying home to tackle the screen. And again, there's absolutely no time for the Wabash unit to make any defensive changes, and that's one of the keys of this situation. You can't get a fresh body in there. Lee, as you can see, wandering down the line of scrimmage. He has two backs in the backfield for pass protection. He will give to the tailback, running on the near side. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about all you're going to find. In fact, there's a fumble. Did Wabash pick up the football? No indication yet. Yes, they did. First turnover of the game.
Jerry, this is exactly what I said earlier, is that the big plays, you can't allow these to happen. This is a big play for Wabash, and you can't let them get momentum.
So the turnover will give Wabash field position about the 38-yard line. Here's a look at it again. We'll try to take the guy that makes the hit and makes the fumble recovery here.
very surprised that, I think that's Jackson Russ carrying the football. Very surprised to see him fumble that, if I'm correct on that.
One of the guys then was Chad Springer, the junior out of Bringhurst, Indiana, Carroll High School there.
And Dustin Deno, a freshman playing in his first ever Monon Bell game, recovers the fumble. The Little Giants now plus 12 on giveaway takeaway ratio on the year.
Let's see, Joe, if we can work in the Wabash offensive lineup here. We haven't had time to do anything with DePauw. We'll get to theirs. Here's the offensive line with Bopp, Melson, Meeker, Kramer, and Rodriguez. That is an offensive line that averages 264 pounds per man. Here's the backs and the receivers now, and we've already seen a little bit of Jake Knott. We're going to see a lot of him today, and we're also going to see a lot of Morris and Hannum and Sutherland. All kinds of guys will get in the play today, Joe.
Chris Morris is the lead back. He'll get the bulk of the carries, and we'll highlight that offensive line as the day goes on. They've been the unsung heroes of the season. They've allowed just 7 sacks in 9 games.
Well, there's one man in the backfield. This is something we will see a lot of out of Coach Creighton today. He'll spread them out, trips to the right side, but they'll give to that lone setback coming off the left side, getting across the 40, up to about the 41 or 42-yard line. Not much running room that time for Chris Morris.
DePauw in on that tackle, along with Charles.
They will mark it down at a gain of about 3 yards, a little more than we actually anticipated.
3 for the Little Giants.
It'll be 2nd down and 7 now. We've talked about the weather last year at Crawfordsville, a very cold, windy, and almost a damp kind of day, but today you could not want a better situation as far as conditions are concerned. Couple of running backs in the backfield again. Back to throw is Knott. Knott's got all the time in the world over the middle. Pass complete across midfield now to the 47-yard line. Good pass, good catch this time by Ryan Short. Number 88.
DePauw's defense will be tested today. That secondary really has to step up and close down those passing lanes so that he doesn't have a receiver to throw to.
Using the run to set up the pass, something the Little Giants had not done previously. Jake Knott did it well there with play action.
There's the defensive front 7 now for DePauw. Their front 4, by the way, averages only 249 pounds in Tubb, Jaquette, Stanback, and Benton along that front line. Here's Knott again. Knott with a little bit of time, but not much as the gates close early. He will get back near the line of scrimmage. The entire atmosphere is just like it's just really geared high level today. Fans are full, stands are full all the way around. Over the right side up to the 45-yard line, back to the line of scrimmage. If you are new to this particular rivalry, generally speaking, you have stands on the far side permanently entrenched between the 30 and the 30. But today, as they do the same thing at Wabash, they bring in stands from all over wherever they can find them, and this field literally surrounded, guys. Great atmosphere.
They might have brought in stands from the local high school. I don't know.
They very well have done so.
They bring them in from all over.
And down to our left, the entire DePauw section standing as they are across the way in the red and white of Wabash. Not again. Not little flat out into the pass out into the flat to Chris Morris. Morris down the right side. Morris with running room. Inside the 30. Cuts back to the inside. 20, 15. Down inside the 10 to off the 7 or 8 yard line. Good pass, but an even better run by Chris Morris, Joe.
The Little Giants have been terrific on 3rd downs all year long, converting 35% of their 3rd downs. This time they do it with a throwback screen pass, and Chris Morris did a great job to avoid the first defender and break it for a long run.
Chris Morris is only a sophomore at 5'10", 190-pounder out of Zionsville, and that program at Zionsville, they're having a great year likewise in the state high school football tournament.
And Chris gets a great block from right guard Bucky Kramer, senior team captain, to spring the play.
Man in motion is Ryan Short. Here's the give coming over the left side. Down inside the 5, the 4, the 3, and that's about all they will get from Chris Morris's run this time.
There was a good indication there of how the defensive line has to basically reestablish the line of scrimmage and make plays from that point on, and that will help the linebackers make plays and get the secondary involved as well too.
Yeah, we talked about Chris Morris. He's been over 100 yards rushing in 5 different games this year. And it'll be 2nd down and goal now for the Little Giants of Wabash. 7-2 coming into this afternoon's game, and they've got a playoff bid perhaps on the line. Joe, we'll talk about that if we have an opportunity. Again, Morris set up at the tailback position. He's the only man in the backfield. He will get the handoff over right side. He will get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about all she wrote. That defensive left side of Benton and Stanback with Geringer coming in also makes the defensive stop.
On third down here, Chris Creighton likes to run play action and flare one of the tight ends, either Ryan Short, who is the team's leading receiver, or Nick Dawson, backup tight end. We can look for that here on third down and goal.
It's early in the game, but it's a big play nonetheless, because he who scores first might set the stage for the rest of this game. You kind of expect a high-scoring game, and yet at the same time, the defensive units have played well of late. Wide to the left side is Kurt Casper, the very left side of your screen. As we zoom in, going back to throw is Knott. Knott's got it in the end zone. Here's the pass. It is touchdown! There's a penalty marker down. Hang on. It is a penalty marker down, and we'll wait and see what the call may be. The officials are now talking to the referee, who will come out and give us the signal. It would appear to be initially against DePauw.
We have defensive pass interference, declined, touchdown.
Touchdown Wabash. They strike first, Joe.
Well, Jerry, they didn't run play action, but they did flare Nick Dawson, the backup tight end. He has had a good year. That's his 19th catch of the year. His 4th for a touchdown, and he has been a nice compliment to Ryan Short. And he climbed the ladder. We'll see it in a moment on replay to pull down a high pass.
Andy Peters snaps it back. Here's the point after by Omi Olmstead. It is up. It is good. And the clock showing 9:07 to go early in this game, first quarter. Wabash strikes first, 7-0. And now, David, all of a sudden you gotta regroup your forces with Nick Moroses' game.
No question about it. They really did not want this to happen. Wabash is out to an early start.
Well, Wabash gets the turnover on the fumble recovery. They march it in. They get the touchdown, and they have gone in front 7-0. 9:07 to go, opening quarter. Here is the kickoff again by Todd Bauer. This time it is shorter than the opening kickoff, taken at about the 7-yard line. Good recovery upfield, running room this time. And finally, a flag will go down. That was John Stevens on the kickoff return. Penalty marker down again.
Either way, with those two returners, Jamarcus Shepard and Johnny Stevens, those are two great returners, and things can happen when the ball gets in their hands. Let's see what the penalty is.
It's a holding call against DePauw, as you saw the signal from our referee. There's Nick Moroses on the sideline now for DePauw University. Here comes the touchdown again. Joe, call it for us here, buddy.
It was a third down and goal for the Little Giants. I mentioned before the play they might run play action and flare the tight end. No play action, but you see here Nick Dawson flaring. He was interfered with. He did a great job to climb the ladder and haul down his 4th touchdown catch of the season. He really has been a secret weapon for this Wabash offense. So that, by the way, Jake Knott's 31st touchdown of the year, extending his school and conference record.
We'll talk about that, because one of the persons whose record he broke is kind of significant also. And again, Jason Lee gets DePauw up to the line of scrimmage and runs out of the shotgun and calls the play from the line of scrimmage. They've got wideouts both ways, slot to the right side, slot to the left side. Quickly the pass comes out of the near side to Mark Reinhardt. Interesting story on Mark Reinhardt. His father is Jack Reinhardt. Jack is one of the guys who works for Channel 6 in Indianapolis. When I got here this morning at 10:30, Jack was already in his seat and had allocated about a half a dozen others. He was here all by himself. But by golly, he got a good seat anyway.
He likes to rehearse. He likes to rehearse. He got some parking spots too.
He got a great parking position too. Good friend of mine, Jack Reinhardt.
Yes.
And his son Mark getting some good significant playing time today. Jason Lee is your quarterback. Lee with time again to throw, comes out of the near side, going to Reinhardt, pass incomplete.
And as you watch DePauw on offense, keep in mind what they like to do is their philosophy is that they believe they can set up the run by passing the football, short passing game, kind of a West Coast offense, and then they believe they can open up some running lanes to soften up that defense. They'll throw the ball.
It's
the reverse
scenario. Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah. DePauw with the football. Lee, 231 of 416 for 2,735 yards this year. 24 touchdowns, 77 touchdowns, 24 touchdowns, a long touchdown reception of 77 yards. This time the defense closes down on him, and he'll have trouble just getting back to the line of scrimmage.
Defensive end Brad Taphorn made the play. He has 5.5 sacks on the season, and Wabash has perhaps two of the lightest defensive ends you'll ever see. Taphorn 203, Josh Stanton 205, but they are very active and very difficult to block.
And if you toss in Blair Hammer, the defensive tackle, and Matt Mercer at the nose guard, that averages 235 pounds per man. That goes up against the front five of DePauw that averages 252, so they're giving away some weight there. It's a third down situation, 3rd down and 4. Here is the kick. A bit of a 4th down, I should have said, and 3. And the kick gets across midfield and will wobble down to about the 40-yard line. So 2 possessions now for DePauw. They have not been able to do anything with the football, and they trail 7-0 with the clock down to 7:57 here in the first period of play. Here's Matt.
Thanks, Jerry. I'm here with former quarterback Dave Knott, father of Jake. Dave, which is harder? Is it harder to play in this game or harder to watch Jake play?
Well, no doubt about it. It's much harder to watch because I don't have any control. When you're playing in the game, you got something to do with what happens and how the game goes. But standing here on the sidelines, I can't control the game or the calls or what Jake does or anything else. He's on his own. So I'd much rather play, but that isn't going to happen.
Well, Jake's having a great game. Back to you in the booth, Jerry.
And while you were talking with father, son did well. Nick Dawson caught the pass from Jake Knott. Dawson, who has the touchdown already in this game. Jake, 174, a 301 of the season, only 9 intercepts. It's pretty impressive stuff. Good on 58% of his passes, 2,527 yards, 30 touchdowns. And in fact, he's averaging almost 281 yards per game in passing. That's pretty heady stuff.
And that pass allows Jake to set a Wabash season standard. We'll talk about that after this play.
This time he will give to the man in motion, coming off of the near side. That is Ryan Short. Short will get it across midfield, or right at the midfield stripe anyway.
With that pass to Nick Dawson, Jake Knott sets a school record for total offense in a single season.
They've got the first down now. Jake Knott this year, as Joe mentioned, the all-time career-leading touchdown passer. He has 78 now. He passed Chris Ings, set the school career passing yardage record, passing Chris Ings again. And he holds, in fact, every major passing record at the school. In fact, he is now 7th on the Indiana Collegiate all-time list. Those are pretty good numbers for a young man.
And he still has 11 games left to play in his career, Jerry.
So we'll see what happens now. Jake Knott will run the ball club with the Wabash side of the football. The man in motion is Kurt Casper. Knott throwing, pass complete to Josh Brunau. And Josh will get it down close to first down territory. The defensive secondary going to have to step up, David.
Well, it's always difficult for the secondary if there's no pressure up front. As I watch things here, DePauw's not doing a good job of getting pressure on Jake. Jake is rolling out, having a chance to look at anything downfield, and that puts pressure on the defensive back. So they're going to have to find a way to free up that defensive line and put pressure on Jake Knott.
Joe, anything happened yet that I know you've been to all the games this year as a Wabash grad? Anything that surprised you so far?
Not yet. The Little Giants offense rolling along as planned. This is the package they've used most of the year. The key for them was keeping Jockett away from Jake Knott, and they've done that so far.
Here's the slant pass over the right side. That'll be close to first down territory.
I'm here with Max Hiddle, the president of the DePauw Alumni Association. And Max, what kind of a message do you have for the alumni of both schools this weekend?
Well, first of all, I welcome everybody to the 108th edition of the Wabash DePauw Monon Bell Classic. As you can see, it's been a great week in DePauw. We have wonderful weather. There's no snow, no wind. We wish you all could be here, but I understand that we're with you at 40 different telecast locations. As you can see from the first half, or first quarter, we got our work cut out for us. But at the end of the game, we're going to take our co-eds and our bell and go back and party. So we all hope you have a good time where you are joining the party, and thanks for joining.
You know what, Jerry? If we win, we're going to take the bell and their co-eds too.
See, I'm sitting in the booth here, and they put me between Joe and David, and there's a good reason, not just technically, but because I got to keep these guys apart up here.
Joe, my wife is here. I'm not commenting on that.
All right, here's the delay and the give in the backfield to Chris Morris. Morris over the right side, gets by a couple of blockers and a couple of tacklers and takes it down just outside the 20-yard line. You see the numbers up in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. Once again, they'll send a man in motion. Here's the delay on the give again. It's Morris again down the right side. Morris being chased down to the backfield. Good defensive pursuit by Jason Gehringer. Gehringer with 57 tackles coming into today's game. The young man stopped that play that time.
Jason Gehringer is a gamer. He will come up with big plays throughout the game. He's done it before. He's a veteran. He knows exactly what to do and how to make plays.
We're going to call Morris' name a lot. I mentioned he has 5 100-yard games. His best game was at Oberlin. He rushed 15 times for 100 161 yards and 3 touchdowns. His longest run of that game was 31. He's had an 80-yarder this year against Hiram, and in that game he rushed for 151 yards. So he's a hard worker. Trips to the left side, the bottom side of your screen. Here is Knott again. Knott will find a receiver out on the right side. The pass is complete down toward first down territory again. They are moving the ball with exceptional ease, and once again that is Chris Morris. So they will mark it down, and it is a first down. The ball is stationed down at about the 18-yard line. Once again, Wabash on the move with 4:05 to go here in this first quarter. They scored the first time they touched the football after a fumble recovery by the Little Giants. Knott, quick pass out in the flat to the near side, incomplete. Is it a lateral? No, they call it an incomplete pass. They had set up a receiver in that particular area out there, number 88, Ryan Short, and the pass was not very well thrown that time by Jake Knott. You can hear the bell clanging away down below us down here. Knott maybe changing the play at the line of scrimmage. Will slide Short or Dawson down that right side. Inside the 10, down to about the 9-yard line.
Jake is given the opportunity to audible to that quarterback draw, although Coach Chris Creighton says while it looks like a quarterback draw, it really works like a straight run, and Jake operates as the tailback. You'll see here he'll take a step back from center and then run right up the middle. You can see the blocking scheme there, sealing off Jake's right side, and Jake will make that call when he gets a 5 in the box look with 4 down linemen and a middle linebacker straight up on the nose tackle. He'll make the audible call at the line and run it every time.
Knott is the second leading rusher on this Wabash squad as far as yardage is concerned. Here's a give to the halfback on the right side. Knott coming into the game, but only carried the ball 47 times, but good enough for 251 net yards. Pachaki that time for Wabash. We got a first and goal situation with on the 8-yard line.
What would be critical here are some of the matchups, particularly on the outside and the perimeter. The 2 corners, Tillis and Blackburn, only go at 5'8" and 5'9" respectively. They're going to have to climb the ladder and stop plays into the end zone.
Right side again, Morris. He is knocked down and lost that time outside the 10-yard line.
That was David Blackburn on the tackle. He's just an excellent player. Started his freshman year out of Ben Davis High School, and he will make plays either in the air or he'll stop the run. He can do either.
And speaking of Ben Davis, what a game they had last night. A big lopsided victory over Warren Central in what was supposed to be the game of the year. David, here's a look at it again.
Well, as you look at the replay here, this is just simply recreating line of scrimmage, as I talked about earlier, getting to the perimeter and cutting off the run. A good play by David Blackburn.
So up to a second down and goal situation. Not back to throw. Right over the middle. Dropped. He had a receiver there. A couple of defenders right in that area. And Brunau could not bring it in. Big play, 3rd and 10. Pressure this time on Knott. He's running for his life, gets to the left side, and well, there's going to be, he's in, but I'll tell you what it's going to be. It may be a block in the back, an illegal clip, could be holding, but it looked to me like that there was a block in the back by one of the Wabash players down around the 5-yard line.
There was pressure there, and that's why that play broke down. Jake was able to get outside. If they're going to have pressure, they've got to contain.
You've been talking about that since the kickoff. Well, watch the right side of the screen. Down about the 5-yard line is where I thought I saw the penalty.
Here it comes.
It's right about in there. Yep,
sir. That was Nick Dawson with the block in the back.
We have a block in the back against the offense. It's 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat, 3rd down.
Wabash is averaging, giving up 62.5 yards per game in penalties, and that one hurt him right there, took a touchdown away. All kinds of pressure again. They'll throw out on the near side. A ball is incomplete, and
now the penalty.
I think that might have been an illegal receiver.
That looks like it.
It looked to me like it was one of the offensive linemen. Who was it?
Number 66.
66. So that's Bob then.
We have multiple fouls against the offense. We have ineligibles downfield, which is only a 5-yard penalty. That one was declined. We have offensive pass interference, which is a 15-yard penalty. That one is accepted. Repeat, 3rd down.
So what looked to be a touchdown a couple of moments ago, guys, is now going to be, what do we got, 3rd and long way to go.
Long ways to go, and this is a critical stop here. They don't want to get them back in field goal position or allow them to get back in field goal position. This could be a big stop.
Not again at the quarterbacking spot. He's trying to get it all. He's got a receiver upfield. The pass is knocked down and almost intercepted that time.
Freddie Marrero on that play, and Freddie is an incredible story. He's a senior this year and somebody that's very special to me, but he's a heck of a football player, and it's always in the right place at the right time, as you could see there.
So Freddie Marrero breaks up that pass. He has a couple of interceptions coming into today's game. It'll be 4th down. Here's a look at it again, Dave.
Here we go. This is just, all you have to do is just be in the right place as far as coverage is concerned. Looks like Jake wants the play to go upfield. You got a guy underneath and a guy over the top, and the play's dead. He actually should have made the interception. I'm disappointed by that.
Here comes the field goal. They'll spot it down at the 37, so we're talking a 47-yard field goal, and it's a fake. Todd Bauer will take it and pooch punt it. And let's see where it ends up. Well, that's a terrific play by Wabash. It wobbles down inside the 4, down to the 3. Joe Emmick, they're pulling all the stops out right now.
They are, and that is a kicking play that they have worked on all week. Wabash's field goal range really is only about 42 or 43 yards. I figured something may have been up when they attempted one from 47.
For DePauw, Jason Lee's going to have to uncork that arm of his.
He really is. And again, it comes down to making good decisions. He's got plenty of guys to throw the football to.
He will set up in the end zone. He'll give to the tailback coming through up the middle. Maybe a couple of yards running, and that's about all they can hope for. They're trying to get some kind of room where they can manipulate the pick up of a couple of yards that play.
Wabash with a new defensive look. They play a base 4-3, and right now they're showing a 3-man front.
Here's Jason Lee again. Trying to outrun some of the defenders coming in from Wabash. Fires the pass upfield, and a good defensive play turned in that time by Artie Montez.
Josh Stanton there to chase him out of the pocket, and then Montez comes over quickly and breaks up the pass.
3rd down and 9. Lonesome backfield now. Wideouts on both sides. Jason Lee over the middle. Pass is caught. It's complete to John Stevens, and Stevens is out near, and I believe got the 1st down. It's a big play offensively.
Extremely important, and that's a big play. They needed that, and just something simple, just a little pitch and catch and throw it to the open guy.
There's a look at John Stevens. We're going to, as we mentioned earlier in the telecast, we'll be calling his name a great deal today. Young man has 78 catches for 901 yards coming into the game, averaging of just under 12 per game. Here is a fumble, and what do we got? Wabash says they have it, and I believe they do. They do. Another turnover, Joe.
They are forcing turnovers. This is their 2nd of the day, and that increases their giveaway-takeaway ratio to +13.
Well, that is big-time stuff, especially in the game of this high intensity. Trips to the left side, singles wide out to the right side, and back to throw in a hurry, and the pass goes to the single set back on the right side. Jake Knott again at quarterback. We're down to about 18 seconds. In fact, that may be the final play of the 1st quarter of play. What a quarter it's been for the Little Giants of Wabash, as they are 7-2, and that's going to be the final play of the quarter. Wabash again with terrific field positions. We turn around and go the other way. Again, it is Jake Knott running the ball club. They'll run it up the middle. They'll move it down to about the 7 or 8 yard line. At Wabash football, they lead 7-0. They scored early on their first possession of this football game. They'll set Matt Pachaki wide out to the left side of your screen. They'll set a wide out to the right side, and Kurt Casper. A man in motion, the try and short. Here's the give to the tailback, running over the right side. That is Morris again.
Got a flag down.
And got a penalty marker down, and Morris is down. Hard to see from this vantage point. A lot of folks on the sideline down there, but he's short of the touchdown area.
Good run for Morris. I fear, though, it's going to be wiped out by this penalty. It's thrown in the area that usually indicates holding. I don't know if we can tell on the replay. I can't see much there in regards to the penalty. He got right down to the goal line, but it is going to be a penalty against the Little Giants.
Have illegal motion.
Well, it's good that they got this penalty.
It's the offense, 5-yard penalty from previous spot. Still 1st down.
As I was saying, while it's good that they got the penalty, what's difficult here is Wabash gets to open up its offense. They got a little more room to operate, so it makes it more difficult on the defense.
Got a guy named Brandon Clifton who set out wide to the right side, very bottom of your screen. Beck moves out of the picture now. And a loss back to the 20-yard line.
I see Charles Stan back in on that play. Allison Jaquette was a factor as well. They got penetration.
and DePauw did a good job reading.
Slot to the left with Kurt Casper. Chris Morris is the single running back behind Jake Knott right now. But again, they'll spread that offense. They'll put a man in motion. That's Nick Dawson. Knott looks to his right, goes into the end zone, and what a catch! Unbelievable catch that time. That's a height advantage that played off beautifully for Ryan Short. What a great catch, Joe.
Ryan Short, the junior from Indianapolis Perry Meridian High School, the leading receiver on this team. That is his 65th catch of the season, his 12th for a touchdown. He is 6'5", 230 pounds, and much like Nick Dawson on the Little Giants' first touchdown of the day, he needed every bit of that 6 feet 5 inches to haul it in. He was well covered and made a spectacular catch.
Well, there's a case, Dave, where the defender just simply wasn't big enough to defend the guy.
That's all it simply was. There was nothing to it. The defender was in the right place at the right time. You just have the matched up against a taller receiver, and he goes up and makes a play.
Let's take a look at this again and look at the big 6'5" outstretched arms of number 88, Ryan Short, now for the Wabash Little Giants.
David Blackburn had great coverage on Short as he ran a crossing route in the back of the end zone, knocked through a beautiful ball, and Short reached right over the top of Blackburn to haul it in, got his feet down for his 12th touchdown of the season. Look at this, well covered. He reaches right over the top and hauls it in. And Jerry, in a season during which records have fallen in bunches, another one has fallen for the Little Giants. Their old-style straight-on place kicker, Olmi Olmstead, now with two PATs today, has tied the school record for extra points in a single season.
That's terrific for Olmi. Let's go down field side now. Stan Jastrzewski on hand. Stan?
Thanks, Jerry. I'm here with David Veer and Walt Chaffee. And David, you helped put together a reunion of a special team of players. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's the 50th anniversary of the best record we had up to that time, with 7 wins and 1 loss. And I got a hold of Ward Shawver, who was a great runner, and Walt Chaffee that's a great tackle, and I got a hold of Penn Faber, that's a great end. And we put it all together and got the university to help us with some of the people there too.
Mr. Chaffee, tell us a little bit about the public relations of putting together the 1951 team for the reunion this weekend.
Well, Stan, we put some rough copy together, some ideas. The university gave us great support on mailings, and we followed up with phone calls, and I think we've got 15 or 17 here. Sorry we couldn't get more, but we got one from Angel Fire, New Mexico, and we're having a lot of fun. And obviously this is a character-building game.
A fantastic reunion and a fantastic game, Jerry. Back to you.
Thank you very much. The kickoff was short that time and run out with good field position out across the 30 or 35-yard line. And we'll see what DePauw can do now. They're down 14-0 in this football game.
Personal foul against a returning team, personal foul against the kicking team. They both cancel. 1st and 10, DePauw.
108th meeting of these two outstanding teams. DePauw leads the series 50-48-9. The actual bell came into the series in 1932, and DePauw leads there 34 wins, 29 losses, and a half a dozen ties. Will not get a tie today. Over the middle, pass is caught across the 35 to about the 36 or 7-yard line. Pickup of only a couple of yards on that play. Good defensive pursuit that time by the right side of the defensive secondary of the Wabash Little Giants. Jason Lee, a quarterback now, and they've been running out of this hurry-up offense, if you will, since the opening kickoff of the game. But so far, it has not paid off for the black and gold of DePauw. Upfield, terrific catch for a moment, then dropped at about the 35-yard line. They had the receiver there. I think that's Dan Ryan. They had him there all right. They put the ball on the numbers, and Dan just couldn't bring it in. The quarterback, Jason Lee, very much focused on the near sideline. That's where the DePauw coaching staff is. They're signaling in the plays they want him to run. And now he is set to go. They use a lot of the game clock. Over the middle, pass thrown a little bit behind John Stevens, and he couldn't hang on.
Lucky break for the Little Giants there. Stevens was wide open on that screenplay that Nick Morozes absolutely loves to call against the Little Giants.
No question.
3 and out in a hurry here for DePauw. Matt Staley will punt it away now for DePauw. Matt with an average of just over 32 yards per punt. Standing back on his own 24-yard line. Long snapper is Jonathan Yost. Here's the snap. Got it away. Got pressure that time. Did manage to get the kick away. It'll bounce at about the 36-yard line. and just kind of hang in there and be knocked dead by DePauw at Wabash's 34-yard line. So the Little Giants, pretty good field position here.
Wabash's defensive weakness had been the pass. They allow 210 yards per game through the air, but doing a good job controlling Jason Lee today.
Ryan Short is the man in motion. Back to throw is Jake Knott. Knott comes out of the near side, pass to Nick Dawson. And Dawson out across the 35, just shy of the 40-yard line. He'll get about 7 yards on that play.
This is a very diverse offense. Many people liken it to the offense Purdue runs under Joe Tiller, and there is some connection there. Jake Knott is from Lafayette, and before Drew Brees went to the San Diego Chargers, Jake spent his summers working out with the Purdue quarterback and their receivers, and so a lot of what Jake does indeed comes from Purdue's football program.
In fact, I love some of his comments. Is that he had no idea how hard a worker Drew Brees was, and that's what made Drew what Drew was, and is today for that matter. Single setback up the middle and back to the line of scrimmage, and well, that's about all there was running room there. It'll be 3rd down and 4, 11:50 to go now, first half. A little bit of confusion. Still plenty of time to get the play off. They've set a wide out the very top of your screen, and they'll move that man in motion again, Kurt Casper. Knott's going to have to tuck it in and run. Knott will get the first down and get out across the 45 to the 46 or 47-yard line. In that case, what happened, the defensive secondary did a nice job, but nobody came up and covered up in the underneath area.
Yeah, the contain, for one thing, wasn't there, and that gave an alley for Jake Knott to get up the field and get the first down.
We talked about Wabash doing things right, winning the turnover battle, winning the field position battle. They are also not allowing DePauw's defense to get off the field on 3rd down. They've now converted 5 out of 6 third downs. We talked about their big second quarters. They convert 54% of 3rd downs in second quarters.
That's a very impressive number. Get over the 50% mark, I'll tell you that. All right, Knott back to throw again. Jake's getting a lot of pressure and a good defensive secondary effort that time. He'll run to the right side. Gets a nice block, takes it across midfield, and right down in front of the DePauw bench. Well, we are in the press box here at DePauw University. David Hill and Joe Emmick working alongside. I'm Jerry Baker. We are back for just a terrific day of entertainment in college football. And if you ever get a chance, boy, do come to one of these games. Left side, running room for Casper. Casper breaks a couple of tackles, takes it down inside the 35 to about the 32, and once again, close to first down territory. Chris Morris is the single setback now for the Little Giants. Not brought back, and all of a sudden everything seemed to break down as the defensive front four got through there.
Well, it looked like that was another call by Jake Knott. He must have seen something that showed that he could make that play. However, what's happening is the middle linebackers coming up and making that not an option for Jake.
9 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the first half. You see the movement on the defensive line of DePauw. This Knott again got hit from behind, but got the pass away and just barely overthrew his receiver. Good pressure that time defensively from free safety John Christopherson, who leads the team in interceptions with 5, and good pressure on the quarterback that time. 14-0 Wabash, and the red and white with the lead and with the football. Single coverage on the receivers wide at the bottom of your screen this time. Here is Knott again, a wide open receiver, and the pass is caught complete to Brandon Clifton.
Looked like a blown coverage. Someone never picked him up.
This time of possession, this is first quarter time of possession, 14 minutes and 14 seconds for Wabash to under 5 minutes for DePauw. Wow. Keeping it on the ground, down to about the 5-yard line.
And if that continues, it will take its toll on the defense.
Absolutely. 2nd down and a half a dozen yards to go. The ball on that 6-yard line, so it's 2nd and goal. Once again, they spread them out. Knott is the only guy on the backfield. Trips right. 2 wideouts on the left side. Touchdown. Now there's a penalty marker that came down late, and I got a feeling it's going to be against DePauw for a late hit on the quarterback, Jake Knott.
Looks like J.T. Benton just made a hit way too late.
Now Wabash is, their body language would indicate that it's against them, but unless it's a holding call, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm thinking here that
against the offense, 10-yard penalty, previous spot, still 2nd down.
2nd down and 16. Not getting pressure again. Not, let's throw it away. Now, what's happening now, Dave, correct me if I'm wrong here, it looks to me like the defensive secondary of DePauw is doing a good job of covering the receivers, and so all of a sudden Jake's trying to look for that second or third option out there.
Yeah, exactly. When you see him flushed out of that pocket as such, you ought to look down to the secondary and know that there's good coverage down there. Plus, it's tight. There's not enough room in here to run patterns. It's very tight, so it gives the secondary an advantage. They just need to get that pressure, and they need to make a play on Jake.
So it's 3rd down and goal. Well, this will be a big defensive stop for DePauw and a big plus for Wabash. Over the middle, pass is thrown behind the receiver, and holy cow,
did he catch
by the second man down there. Who was that?
Down to the goal line.
Joe, the intended receiver, got a hand on it, and it looks like Matt Pachaki may have come up with a reception.
I believe it was Matt Pachaki. It was Kurt Casper, the intended receiver. He made a great effort to keep the ball alive. Pachaki in the right place at the right time to catch the deflection down to the goal line.
Reminiscent of Nebraska, Missouri a couple years back, and it was a remarkable catch.
This is just a spectacular play. Jake throws it on a rope. Casper has it bounce out, and he tipped it. You could see it right there. He intentionally tipped it to Pachaki, trailing the play.
Now here's a big 4th down because it's 4th and goal. Up the middle, did they get it?
I don't know that he did.
Wabash says yes, DePauw says no, and we'll wait for the line judge. They're going to mark it down to the 1-yard line.
Wow.
What a defensive stop by DePauw after a great offensive play by Wabash.
A big goal line stand for the Tigers, and Wabash is not easily deterred in the red zone. Coming in, they had scored on 37 of 45 red zone possessions, and 35 of those 37 had been touchdowns.
They're pretty impressive, I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
You talk about bad field position, it can't get much worse than your 1-foot line, and then what they'll do is try to pound it up the middle. And again, Dave, about all DePauw can do now is try to get a little breathing room and punt the doggone thing away unless they can break a big one here. Here's Nick Morozes on the sideline. We've talked about Nick, of course. 21st year here, a record of 126 wins, 78 losses, 4 ties. Dave pointed out 11, 8-1 in Monon Bell games. He knows the significance of this particular game. They'll bring the tail back through and get it out to about the 5-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and let's say 5. Nick Morozes last year was the SCAC Coach of the Year. He's the winningest coach in school history. He has 16 500-plus seasons and 14 winning seasons. He's won 9 games twice in his career, 81 and 96, and 8 or more victories in 6 of those seasons. Pass incomplete from Jason Lee, and now it's going to be punting situation time for Matt Staley.
And that front 4 has been doing a good job all day. They have completely throttled one of the nation's best Division III quarterbacks.
It was Lonnie Heck out on the defensive pressure. Let's swing down to the field. Stan, what you got for us, bud?
Jerry, I'm down here with Dr. Phil Askew, president of DePauw's Athletic Hall of Fame, and after that goal line stop, Coach Nick Morozes' morale must have been pretty good. How was his morale when you introduced him this morning at the brunch, Dr. Askew?
Stan, if you know Nick, he's always upbeat. He was very excited. He was very emotional. He broke down and cried. This is his 21st year. He talked about comebacks. He talked about DePauw and how great it is. He's always upbeat.
DePauw will need a comeback today, Jerry. Back to you.
So the punt taken by Josh Brunaw, and again, good field position. Defense got to go to work again, Dave.
Yes, they have gone to work all day long here, and they just have to continue to do this. They're in the ball game. It's only 14-0.
In fact, they are fortunate to be in this ball game based on the turnovers and the way things have gone for them.
Turnovers in short field. Amazingly, it's only 14-0.
5:49 to go in the half, and 14-0 in favor of Wabash. They have the football, a little bit of razzle-dazzle in the backfield, and running room. Good job that time of keeping his feet is Brunaw. On the reverse situation, they have got it inside or right near the 20-yard line. Left side, running room, Morris again.
Better job of stringing that play out, allowing the linebackers to flow and make the play.
Well, the atmosphere here is just electric. I mean, and it just stays that way the whole game regardless of the score of the doggone thing. All right, Knott gets the club to the line of scrimmage under center. Single setback again as Chris Morris. Over the middle and almost intercepted.
And it has been a game of, you hear it's a game of inches. DePauw has had a chance to make a couple plays, grab interceptions. They've dropped them. They could have had a chance to make big tackles. They missed a couple tackles. It's just that close.
4th down and 6.
Timeout, 4th down and 6 for the Little Giants.
That's what the Giants do here. Big defensive play for DePauw. Not over the middle, knocked away, and no flags are down. Nice defensive coverage that time from Justin Tillis.
Yes, Justin Tillis was on the coverage, but he got pressure and help from Jason Gehringer, and that combination is deadly.
All right, so DePauw will get it. They've got a sufficient amount of time to move it if they can. 4 minutes and 49 seconds to play. Look at the total yardage in this game. This is unreal, Joe. 221 to 74. The Wabash averages total offense 459 yards a game. Here's the pass out on the flat on the near side, right in front of the DePauw sideline. And John Stevens having just an absolutely astounding year. He is tied for 3rd in the nation in receptions per game with 10, and he is 2nd in all-purpose yards, just over 296 yards a game. Just an outstanding year. John Stevens we're talking about in the black and gold.
And again, the Wabash defensive front wreaking havoc against the DePauw offensive line. That time Josh Stanton with a good push and gets his hands up to bat the ball away for an incomplete pass.
John Stevens out of Carmel, Indiana, 5'10 junior, 175 pounds. Of course, the Greyhounds lost last night at the state high school football tournament. Pressure this time and just kind of looking for the escape valve, and he gets the escape valve and will get out to shy of the 30-yard line, and it could be close enough for the 1st down.
It's close.
And they were just looking to find a warm body, and they found Matt King, number 20, out of the backfield.
Once again, Wabash went with a 3-man front. They were able to get very good pressure on Lee. He did a good job to flip it off to his tailback for the screen pass in the 1st down.
And we'll keep an eye on the receptions by John Stevens. Coming into the game, he needed 3 to break Joe Shane's single-season record of 80, so we'll keep an eye on that.
And you see Jason Lee coming out of the pocket there. One of the things about Jason that people don't realize is that he's quite mobile. He may not look like it in person, but he can move around a little bit, and that helps him buy some time to get the ball downfield.
Against Rhodes in the opening game of the year, he had the 2nd highest total yards in school history with 426 passing yards. Inside handoff, good running room again from Matt King, and King gets it out to the midfield stripe.
Now you see here where DePauw is giving the ball, handing the ball off, hoping that the running lanes are beginning to open up. They've had success throwing the ball. Now they're trying to give inside, run the gut play, and run the draw play, and see if some lanes open up inside.
You know, Joe, you and I were talking about this game could take forever to play with the passing. Well, the hurry-up offense, the way things are going, it's zipping along pretty good here. Play action pass. Lee with all the time in the world. Now starts to roll to the near side. May just run out of bounds. In fact, he will. It runs into into the trash barrel and spills it over. He is okay, and that's what's important here.
Make no mistake, Jason Lee can play. He's one of the best quarterbacks DePauw's ever had, but he also has a great arsenal of people to throw the ball to, and he's going to have to utilize that this afternoon.
And you better have some good receivers, because I don't care if you throw it if they can't catch it. Fake to the inside handoff, pass out on the near flat to Mark Reinhardt. Reinhardt bullying his way across the 45 down to the 43-yard line.
Jason Lee has completed some passes, but they have not been able to throw over the top of Wabash's defensive backs today.
Jason Lee will keep Matt King in the backfield as a protector. Now he rolls to the near side. And again, just like a couple of plays ago, he has nowhere to go, and that's good defensive secondary defense employed by Heck and Montez and Deno and Johnson back there. One of the best drives of the day so far for the DePauw Tigers, and I say the best drive, and yet they're just across the mid-steel stripe down to the 46. Here's the punt. Deep man this time. Here's Johnson, who fumbles the football, and DePauw may have it. They do. Now the turnovers start to go the other way, Dave.
As we talked about earlier, that's a big play, a chance for DePauw now to do something with the football. And big plays will dictate who comes out ahead at the end of the football game. Good protection on the punt, and that's critical. One of the most important plays in football. You got to protect the punter. And it just lost concentration, it looks there.
He called for the fair catch. It should have just gotten away from it.
If you indecision there, Joe.
The sun is, I'm not looking for an excuse, but the sun would have been in his eyes, in Stu Johnson's eyes. That's the direction of it. Here's the pass on the flat on the right side. A little bit of running room now for John Stevens. Stevens will work it inside the 10 and be banging on the door. Boy, this would be an emotional display for both teams. If Wabash could stop them or if DePauw can get it in, it changes the whole complexion of the game.
Emotion is the key. If you look at the Wabash sideline, they're jumping up and down like they have the ball at the 5. This is a situation Chris Creighton calls sudden change. When the opponent starts deep in Wabash's own territory, that's when he wants his team to kick in the emotional afterburners and make a stop.
Running over the left side is Jackson Rusk. Rusk gets it inside the 5. They'll mark it down at about the 4-yard line. And DePauw with that big turnover from Wabash trying to turn something into something, as Wabash did on the opening drive of the game when DePauw fumbled the football away and the Little Giants marched it in. Quick pass, flare pass into the corner, and oh, what a catch by Dan Ryan.
Jerry, Dan Ryan, this is where he operates the best. He made a living out of catching the fade route in high school, and this is a perfect area for him to go and catch the football. And just like that, we got a football game.
You know, guys, what's interesting, we have seen in the first half of this game some spectacular individual performances here. Dan Ryan with a little fade, as you say. In fact, I thought for a moment that Jason had overthrown him. I don't know how he got there. Right now, the point after. This is Ben Murray. He is 22 of 30 in the point after department, out of the hold of Andy Toll. The snapper is Jonathan Yost. It is up. It is good. And as you say, Dave, we've got ourselves a ball game here.
Well, I know Joe and I both know that this is the Monon Bell. This thing is not over until it's over, and I know that's an old cliche. Here we go with the replay.
It'll go to the left-hand side of your screen here. This is a terrific pass.
Nice throw and a great catch by Dan Ryan. And a tough catch. It was over his shoulder, the wrong shoulder, and he just reaches out and makes a catch.
And at the same time, the defender was there.
He was, and Dan Ryan and Ryan Short are really mirror images of each other. 6'4", 6'5", 220-pounders. They came up as tight ends. They can split wide. They can run the deep post, and they can run the fade. Almost carbon copies of each other at that position.
All right, DePauw will kick it off now. Chris Lambring, number 22 for the DePauw Tigers. It's the signal from the official. And the kick. It'll be heading toward the out-of-bounds area. Will go out of bounds, as a matter of fact.
I shouldn't say that.
Now let's see what Wabash wants to do with the football now. Will they try to move it upfield or just be content to run out the top of the 14-7 lead? Nope, they're going to make it move upfield. Not trying to throw this time out on the right side to Ryan Short, over through Short. And that'll stop the clock with 1:52 to go. Not using a lot of time. He'll roll over to the right side and get it across the 40 to the 41. Not nearly enough for the first down.
The quarterback draw.
Again, he looked like he called his old number there, and the DePauw is going with a too-deep secondary to kind of protect against anything deep.
Chris Morris. Oh, that's going to be close to first down territory. Depends on the market. They mark it across the 45. It's good for the first down.
Stopped right at the first down marker. That's the first down for Wabash.
First and 10 with 1:05 to play here in the half. Not kind of a dying quail over the middle. It is incomplete.
Good coverage.
Yep. They were going to Kurt Casper that time.
Yep. The Tigers have not sacked Knott today, but he has taken some hard hits in that offensive backfield for the Little Giants.
Here's a penalty marker.
Dead ball foul, illegal substitution.
Yep.
Into the offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
That'll be second down and 15, and the clock did not move, of course, so we still have precisely 1 minute to play here in the first half. 14-7 Wabash with the lead and the football. Jake on a quick pass out to the near side. Nick Dawson with the football is out of bounds, and that stops the clock. 54.5 seconds to play in the half. 14-7 is your score. Wabash with the lead, scoring in their very first possession of the afternoon. Here's the pass over the middle. Pass is caught complete to Ryan Short. Short down to the 30-yard line, and 47.2 seconds remain. Now we'll see if Wabash wants to use their timeouts, and they will.
Here we go. You see up front, they twisted those inside tackles and tried to create some type of pressure, but Jake got the ball off, and the coverage was just a little bit behind.
3-man front now defensively for the DePauw Tigers. Linebackers sneaking in to make it basically a 5-man defensive front. Not with some time, but has no receiver. It's a great defensive secondary, but a receiver in the end zone and knocked away.
Pass is incomplete in the end zone.
And we're going to Ryan Short. Now that's interesting, David Hill, from a defensive standpoint. When I said they had him covered, they did, and almost as soon as Knott came rolling out, they left their men down there.
Well, one of the things is, as a defensive secondary player, you know that as a quarterback, you have the ability to roll out, and Jake Knott has tremendous ability to roll out here. As you can see here, he buys time. So what you have to do is you cannot lose sight of the receivers as he buys more time. You see him coming outside of pressure, and you have to keep your eye on who you're covering, and they did recover a little bit because the ball was not thrown on a line.
What Knott makes it tough to cover him, Joe, I'm telling you. He just, he can run with the football and just has great peripheral vision, obviously. Here's the quarterback, keeper up the middle. He is going to run and hustle out of bounds about the 22 or 3 yard line. That was a set play there.
It was.
And now with 31.5 seconds to go, they need probably another 10, 15 yards to really feel comfortable in field goal position. Pass knocked down to the line of scrimmage.
The pass was knocked down by Al Jaquette.
By Alton Jaquette for the Tigers.
At the minute the ball's thrown, get your hands up. And that's exactly what Allison did, and he made a play. Big play, too.
You betcha. 4th and 4, 27.5 seconds to go. DePauw sideline trying to get its fans directly below us, fired up. Same thing going on, of course, on the other side of the field with the red and white of Wabash. These two schools only 30-some miles apart. And they have one of the finest rivalries in all of college football. Casper to the left side. Brunaw to the right side. Knott's going to throw into the end zone, and that may be offensive pass interference.
Yes, sir. Looked like what happened there. Ryan Short climbed the back of the defensive back and created an offensive pass interference.
Well, let's see if that's what the call is. I got to believe it is. Joe?
I think it is. DePauw is reacting as if that's the case, and we'll wait for the official to tell us for sure.
Well, we've seen some spectacular catches today, and that's what it is. Offensive pass interference. You don't see it often, but that one was kind of glaringly obvious.
We have offensive pass interference, 15-yard penalty, previous spot, still 4th down.
Okay, as you see here, Blackburn, good coverage. He's where he needs to be, and he's been there all day. Difference is, and he shouldn't act as if he didn't do that.
Timeout on the field.
Jake did not throw a particularly good ball here. It hung up. It came off his hand pretty well, and I'm wondering if that crosswind hung it up just a little bit so that Short had to come back for it, and he clearly climbed the DB's back for the flag.
All right, here we go now. It's 4th and 20 with 20.3 remaining. Let's see what Wabash opts to do. If they don't get the first down, DePauw will not have much time to play with the football anyway. Knott is going to run around, and he will put the ball in the air, and it's knocked away. And that will be an incomplete pass. And now with 11.8 to go, I'm going to give you a chance to play head coach here, David. What do you think? David Hill, you're the coach. You're going to just take the knee and get out of here?
All you simply do here is get out of here.
David, coach is always conservative in this situation. If they do take a knee, I don't think the crowd's going to like it very much.
No, but Nick can sleep with himself. We'll be able to sleep tonight. If he makes the mistake here, it's disastrous. Oh my goodness, they're going to hang on to the football. They come out to the near side. This will be the final play of the half. The pass is complete and across midfield. Good pass catch by Jackson Rust with 4.1.
See, Jared, that's why I'm at the NCAA.
There you go.
I wouldn't make that call.
Well, Joe's point was well made. We should have known better, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's a fake one way and turn back and throw to the running back, which gave him an opportunity to find some running room, and does a nice job, gets upfield, and calls timeout in a timely fashion, gives him a chance to make another play.
All right, here we go. 4.1 to play here in the first half. 14-7 Wabash. DePauw's final fling at getting this game tied or even taking a lead. Jason Lee. Oh, he gets time, and here we go. He'll fire it up for grabs. It's a wobbly throw that's intercepted down there. Now you got yourself a problem going the other way. The pass interception.
Is intercepted by Dustin Deno.
Dustin Deno, number 6. That is his 3rd interception of the season, and we are at halftime. Let's go down to the field now. Matt Abid.
Hi, I'm here with Coach Chris Creighton. Coach, great first half. What do you have to do to keep up the intensity and bring home the bell?
It was not a great first half by any means. We got a lot to work on. they're a good defense, and they've stopped us some in the red zone. We got to finish the play off when we get close, and our defense has to continue to give up the big, to prevent the big play.
Turnovers. What do you have to do? What do you have to do to eliminate them?
Every game is decided on special teams and turnovers. We talk about it, we practice it. Now we're going to hold on to the football and make good decisions throwing it. And just like on that last play, when the ball's in the air, we're going to get after it.
Great, thanks, Chris. Back to you, Jerry.
All right, Matt. Chris, of course, in his first year as the coach at Wabash, he was at Ottawa University for 4 years, a 32-7 record there, 2 conference championships, and broke or tied 24 school records.
You see Wabash dominating the statistics, 267 total yards to 146. Wabash winning the turnover battle. They are also winning the time of possession battle, over double the time of possession DePauw has. But the one big key and the one thing that's kept DePauw in this game, the penalties. Wabash penalized 6 times for 60 yards. DePauw just 1 time for 10 yards.
Little Giants have just made their appearance on the field, coming out of the dressing room area to our right. Let's go down to the field. Here's Nick.
Thanks, Jerry. I'm here with Coach Nick Morosis. And Coach, 14-7 deficit. How are you going to close the gap?
Well, we've been down 21-0 in the first quarter and came back. And I told our young men, I think we got some momentum, and our young men are playing hard. We're pulling all together. Special teams got us the ball back. Defense is doing a good job of holding them, stopping them from scoring. And we just got to get momentum in our favor, and I think we will.
What about the turnovers? How do you control those?
We got to stop those, naturally. I think that was going in our favor because we got a fumble from them. So we just got to get momentum on our side, and I think we are. Right now, I think it's momentum's with us.
Coach Nick, optimistic about the second half. Back to you, Jerry.
All right, here we go now. The second half, we're about set to kick off. Jake Knott will be at quarterback again for the Wabash offensive unit, as Joe pointed out. Knott 14 of 26, I should say, for 185 yards, a couple of touchdowns, and this has been a focus on the quarterback kind of a day, but boy, the receivers have done a remarkable job. We've seen some terrific defensive play also.
Yeah, we've seen a little bit of everything, and that's what we expected, and that's great about the Monon Bell game.
All right, here's the opening kick. It'll head deep and bounce at about the 11-yard line. Finally picked up down there by Josh Bruneau. And Josh finds a little running room out across the 20, out about the 23 or 4-yard line. And that's where Wabash goes to work to begin the second half of this football game. Offensive unit with 8 starters returning. They have 14 Letterman back in that starting offensive unit. Here's the give to Chris Morris. He had a very busy first half in this football game. Morris with nowhere to go.
And right away you see DePauw making a play there. Freddie Marrero coming up and making a play out of the secondary. Freddie, again, has been a factor. Last year's Monon Bell MVP on defense.
So here comes Wabash back to the line of scrimmage again. They lost a yard on that play. It's second down at 11. 3 offensive line starters back for Wabash, and Meeker, Bopp, and Kramer. Quick pass out in the left side and dropped out there in the hands and out of the hands of Nick Dawson. Got a touchdown catch in the first half. All right, so Knott with Morris in the backfield with him. Here's Knott. Trying to go over the middle, does. Here's the pass completion to Kirk Casper. Casper across midfield down to the 47-yard line. I'm not sure, Joe, that he was the intended initial receiver, #1 choice, but he caught it. Good gain that time.
And it was his first catch of the day. He came into this game as the team's second leading receiver with 44 catches, first in receiving yardage with 808. He touched the ball once in the first half on a reverse, and here Jake Knott goes to him as the second option on the short post, and he picks up the first down. And it's very important for Kirk Casper to get his hands on the ball. He has to be involved in this offense.
He is averaging, Joe, when he does catch the football, 18.5 yards per catch. Very impressive, and a good pass reception there across midfield to the 48-yard line. Wabash football here. Not again. Slant pattern from the near side, this time to Ryan Short. They have used that slant pattern very effectively today. Third quarter just getting underway. Here in Greencastle, they're going for all the marbles this time, and the intended receiver overthrown that time. Kirk Casper looking for some kind of defensive pass interference, did not get the call.
And again, good coverage downfield.
Yep. Clifton going to the top side, fumble.
Snap is fumbled at the line of scrimmage.
I think Wabash maintains control of the football. Boy, the turnovers, guys, have been major factors, as they always are in the football.
No question about it. That happened in last year's game, if people remember, and there were some critical turnovers that allowed DePauw to climb back in the football game and eventually go ahead, and that has to be a concern.
So Wabash will have it, 4th down and 2. Punting situation. Good snap. Loneman gets it away. Takes a bounce at about the 15. Picked up and maybe a couple of yards coming back. We'll have a penalty marker down on the play. Sometimes that would indicate a face mask. We'll see what the call may be.
Preliminary signal, an illegal block.
An illegal block, illegal hands to the face. DePauw the penalty against the Tigers. They will have the football for the first time here in the second half, literally on their own goal line. Here's the quick pass out on the right side. And out to about the 10-yard line. So they do get some running room. Picked up 5 yards, second down at 5. And again, Jason Lee running the ball club out of the shotgun formation and out of the no-huddle offense. Up the middle, fumble. Wabash has got it. The fumble. Let's see who got it.
It was Lonnie Heck coming up from a safety position to recover it. Nathan Boulay, the team's leading tackler, the middle linebacker, forced the fumble. 2 plays in a row on this drive in which Nathan Boulay has made the tackle, and we'll see it again.
Second fumble recovery of the season for Lonnie Heck.
The junior out of Ben Davis, Nate Boulay, the leading tackler, makes the hit. The ball pops free, and there is Lonnie right there to fall on it.
All right, there's Nick Morozes on the sideline. Jackson Rust is up, and he is all right, and that is terrific news. Left side running with the football. Chris Morris. Jake Knott still runs the ball club with QB spot for the red and white of Little Giants. In the backfield, Nick Dawson set back there as kind of a blocking back along with Chris Morris. Man in motion's Casper. Knott with all kinds of pressure over through his man and may have been intercepted. It is an interception. Now I got to check and see who it is. Is that Geringer?
That's Justin Tillis.
Oh, Tillis? All right.
Yes,
that's Tillis's first interception of the season.
Yes, it is. And he's a guy, and as we watch the replay here, again, Jake has to find time and get outside, and with a little bit of pressure, he tries to make a play here and force the ball in. And fortunately, there was coverage there by Justin, and he makes a play down there on the goal line. A huge play, another big stop by the DePauw defense.
Joe, I wasn't sure if he was throwing to the up receiver or the one that actually had his hands on the football.
One of the few poor decisions Jake has made all year. He really should have either run that to the boundary or thrown it out of bounds where no one could catch it.
And once again, DePauw has absolutely horrible field position. They'll just keep the ball on the ground and try to pound it out until they can get a little bit of running room. It's just out around the 9-yard line, about a 5 or 6 yard pickup that time. 9:50 to go here in the third quarter. 14-7 football game. Wabash with the lead. DePauw with the football, and nothing doing that time as King takes it over the left side. Comment about the left guard of DePauw, John Roth, number 53, 6'2", 265-pound sophomore, getting his first start. Yes. What a time to get that start, David, in the Monon Bell game.
Yeah, big time.
Lee in the end zone, running for his life. Lee's going to fire it up. He's got a couple of receivers up there, and it is intercepted, I believe, just inside the 50-yard line.
And that's Dustin Deno again, his third turnover recovery of the afternoon. He had a fumble recovery on the game's first drive. He intercepted a pass to end the first half, and now he comes up with a big interception, as you'll see here on the replay. Watch the push that Josh Stanton gets from Lee's right side right there to collapse the pocket and force him to the right, forcing him to throw across his body. A very difficult throw for a left-handed quarterback.
All right, we've got a comment from Stan in just a moment. I want to check the condition of Jackson Rust. Running with the football is Knott, and Knott will get it down inside the 45 to about the 43-yard line. A couple of moments ago, an injury to Jackson Rust of the DePauw Tigers. Stan, you have an update on his physical condition.
I certainly do, Jerry. I spoke with Rex Call, who is the head of DePauw's training staff, and he said that on the play where Jackson Rust fumbled, he suffered a concussion and will be out for the rest of the game.
Wow.
Back to you.
Okay, thank you very much for that update. That's going to hurt the offensive side of the football.
Well, in a sense, yes. And I mentioned, though, that Matt King has filled in nicely. They've both been a 1-2 punch for DePauw, so he'll fill in.
Wabash with the football again. It's been one of those games where about the time you think you've got something figured out, something weird happens. Here's a little almost a flanker screen pass to Kurt Casper. Casper will get himself maybe a yard, not much on that, down to the 41-yard line. not play action. Lobs it over the middle, out of the outstretched hands of Nick Dawson.
Another critical third down situation there, and DePauw held its ground. And so this just, we're tossing back and forth again here.
Joe Loneman will get the long snap from Andy Peters. Loneman averaging 35.5 yards per punt with a long of 56 this year. Gets it away from right at midfield. Not a good kick. It'll bound and go out of bounds at about the 17 or 18 yard line, something in that neighborhood over there. So not a good kick, but again, not the best field position for
Not
DePauw.
good field position. It looked as though he didn't want to really kick to John Stevens, because I tell you, he can make plays when he makes catches on the punt as well too. He's all around, he's all purpose, and he's been very successful this year doing those things.
Back down to the sidelines again we go. Here's Matt Eben.
Thanks, Jerry. I'm here with Hall of Famer Bill Kaiser, class of '86. Much different offense than you see out here today.
That's right. That year we took a real running approach. This year we're throwing it. Jake Knott's doing a great job again today for Wabash.
Thanks, Bill. Enjoy the game. Back to you, Jerry.
58 rushes. He must have carried some in the locker room before the game, for crying out loud.
One of the things that has helped Wabash maintain this 14-7 lead, guys, field position. Average starting field position for Wabash, the DePauw 48. Average starting field position for DePauw, the DePauw 24.
And that's where we are right now, as a matter of fact. The top on the Tigers today. They're only down by a touchdown, though, 14-7 with 7:20 to go here in the third quarter. Taking the inside handoff. Lee again with the football, and this time he'll go nowhere. There were 3 white shirts all over him, one of who was Nate Boulay. Blair Hammer, number 54, likewise a party to that situation. 3rd down and 12. Oh, a catch and a drop. No reception. That was a great throw to Dan Ryan.
And Dan Ryan's the kind of guy that you want to throw the ball to down in the seams and on the crossing routes, because he's a great target. Problem is, he draws a lot of attention. So when the ball comes his way, 2 or 3 defenders are coming at him as well, and they were able to knock the ball out. Dan's got to hold on to the ball.
Yep. Staley will punt it away. Punted 4 times in the first half, averaged 29.5 yards. Long punt of 34. And he'll be standing about the 2 or 3 when he gets this thing away. Gets it away from about the 5. Not a particularly good kick. It will bound at about the 35. Take a terrific DePauw roll and cross midfield down to the 48-yard line of Wabash College.
There's a penalty marker on the play.
And here's the call.
Dead ball foul, personal foul against the kicking team. 15-yard penalties from the end of the run.
Wow.
Emotional control.
Yep.
You cannot make silly plays. You cannot have these personal fouls.
All right, Wabash with the football again, and with that penalty, they've got pretty good, decent field position again. This is Morris over the left side. You know, Joe, to play devil's advocate just a bit with you, I totally concur. The high-scoring teams, Wabash and DePauw, and yet if you take a look, Wabash over the last 7 games allowed only a total of 53 points. So whatever was going wrong early, they straightened out by the time they hit that Worcester game on the 6th of October.
And a lot of that, Jerry, was a new coaching staff getting used to its personnel. Chris Creighton and Neil Nethery came together from Ottawa University. They played a defense that was a base 4-3, but put defensive backs in man coverage. Wabash does not have defensive backs with the physical talent to play man coverage. They realized that 3 weeks into the year, put more zone in, and that's led to the better defense.
So he had to adjust his offense to the personnel that he had at that time, is basically what you're saying. It is 3rd and 5.
Another big 3rd down for the defense here.
Pass out on the near side of the 30, and a terrific defensive play turned in that time by John Christopherson.
Okay, simple pass outside, and John is a great open field tackler. It's what I loved about coaching him when I had the secondary. I relied on John to make those kinds of plays.
So it's 4th and 1. Now let's see what's going to happen here. They're going to go for the first down, or at least they're going to line up as though they're going for the first down. Chris Morris, the single running back. Man in motion is Val Benoit. They give the ball to Morris. Morris gets back to the line of scrimmage, and I don't know.
That's going to be close. I don't know.
He's met at the line of scrimmage.
DePauw's coming off the field very fired up. They think they put the defensive stopper out there. We'll see. And I think they did, too.
They're not even going to measure.
Well, that's a nice play. Morris had a little bit of room, not much. Well, that defensive secondary, especially with the linebackers, closed up in a hurry.
No question. And DePauw, as you notice now in these couple of series that they've had to defend this short field, they've done an excellent job of stopping the run once again, as we said earlier in the ball game, which is critical to stopping the success of the Wabash offense.
You know, Joe, you and David and I have talked about this, all the turnovers, and yet there's not been very much capitalization on those turnovers.
Wabash did early, turning 2 DePauw turnovers into 14 points. DePauw then turned 1 into 7. Since then, neither team has been able to capitalize on mistakes.
So DePauw gets the football. Little running room up the middle for Lee. Lee slides down at the 35-yard line. Still a pickup of about a half a dozen yards. You pointed out that's not his forte, running the football.
Not at all, but if forced to do so, he will. And it was good coverage in the secondary, so he didn't have a choice.
Check Rushton Lee. You see, Lee has run the ball throughout the season 50 times for a net loss of 69 yards. So that's not what you want to hear. He's averaging minus 1.4 yard per carry.
Well, he was in danger of being a guard about 2 years ago.
Was that right?
Yeah. We always threatened him that way.
Oh, you were going to demote him. I understand. I got you.
He was so big.
Dead ball foul. Ball start. It's the offense. 5 yards. Still second down.
I'm here with Randy Wells. Randy, I think you can identify a little bit with Freddie Marrero here, the senior safety for DePauw. You played strong safety when you were here in the 1970s. You won your first 3 Monon Bell games. You lost your last one 14-7. That's what the score is now. What must Freddie be feeling?
Well, a lot of anxiety right now. He's still got a quarter to go, and we played admirably. We're certainly in this game. This is a strong Wabash club, so really all we need is a big play, interception, or fumble. Maybe he can do that, and get us back in this thing. So we're definitely in touch right now.
Just inducted into the Hall of Fame the Athletic Hall of Fame just a couple weeks ago. How does that feel?
It was very humbling, actually. Knowing some of the people that had gone in, it really made me feel humbled, but honored. And I certainly enjoyed it. It was a great weekend. It was nice to renew some old relationships, and it was a very gratifying weekend.
Hopefully DePauw will fare better this year than they did during Randy's senior year. Back to you, Jerry.
All right, there's your score, 14-7, upper left-hand corner, 3:14 to go here in the third. Jason Lee might have been making some changes again to the line of scrimmage. Here's the pass upfield, caught right at the midfield stripe. Terrific job of catching and then hanging on to the football. That is Mark Reinhardt.
Those are the catches that have to be made in this football game. We saw Dan Ryan drop a couple passes like that, but finally somebody made a catch and made a play, and here we go.
I mentioned his dad, Jack, was here at 10:30 this morning. That'll make it all worthwhile right there.
Oh, absolutely. And Mark goes up and catches the football and holds on. That's all you have to do. He's going to get hit.
All you have to do is hang on, huh?
Well, that's it.
All right, here we go. They're across midfield. Here's a give in the backfield now to Matt King. King over the right side. Maybe a yard, not much more than that. Quarterback draw. Lee will get himself another 3, maybe 4 yards. Take it down inside the 45.
Timeout on the field.
I'm here with Dean Ditzler. Dean Ditzler graduated from Wabash in 1975 and now has returned to be Dean of the college.
I enjoy opportunities to work with young men in the classroom. I enjoy working with faculty, talking about how we build curriculum.
Dean Ditzler, thanks. Back to you, Jerry.
All right, thank you very much, Matt. Over the middle, wide open receiver is Reinhardt again. Reinhardt gets a good block. Reinhardt to the left side. Reinhardt 5, knocked out of bounds at about the 4-yard line. Well, he caught a sensational block from one of the DePauw men upfield when it looked like Reinhardt had nowhere to go. He found some room and picks up some very important yardage.
Jerry, like Johnny Stevens, Mark Reinhardt is capable of making big plays. As we see here, all it was is a catch, but he uses his athletic ability and the block to get downfield. Yards after the catch, very important aspect of this game, and he makes a lot of yards after that catch. Terrific play.
Oh, you betcha. They'll mark it down at about the 3-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal, and DePauw on the march. Joe pointed out a couple of moments ago the first real sustained effort they've had in quite some time. Not much has changed condition-wise. Field still basking in glorious sunshine this Saturday afternoon, and the wind still blowing across the field from where we are across the field. So it's not much of a help or a hindrance either way. Up the middle, busting 1 tackle, 2 tackles, maybe got it. That looks like Matt King. Touchdown DePauw.
Matt King, make no mistake about it, not a very big guy, but he is not afraid to stick it up in there in the middle. He holds on to the football. That's a key thing, and he scores there.
That's his 7th touchdown of the year. Matt King, averaging 6.1 yards per carry coming into the game today, has his 7th touchdown of the year, his first of the afternoon. And again, the turnovers set things up. Andy Toll will hold. Jonathan Yost is your long snapper. Ben Murray will attempt the point after. It is up and it is good. So Murray is 2 out of 2 on the day. And with a minute 40 to go here in the third quarter of this game, it is a tie at 14-all. Let's take a look again at the touchdown here, David Hill.
See, it looked like it was a trap play of sorts, and the middle opened up, and Matt King just stuck his head down there, held on to the football, and went across the goal line.
Well, you do get the feeling, though, this is one of those games where one little incident could be the one that solves the puzzle, if you will. Like they say, the last team that has the football wins the game. Here's the kickoff taken back on the 9-yard line. Not much running room. Defensive pursuit that time, turned in by number 55 of DePauw. And that is Bo Davis.
Good coverage on that kick team.
It will be interesting to see how Wabash handles itself in this situation. They have not been in a tight ball game all year long. The closest score in any of their games, win or lose, was a 14-3 loss at Wittenberg. This current 6-game winning streak has been nothing but blowout games that were over by the end of the third quarter. So it will be interesting to see how Wabash reacts in a tight game.
A good quick handoff over the left side. That is Morris again. It'll be 2nd down and 5 on the 5-yard pickup by Chris Morris that time. Jake Knott, well, he can put the ball in the air. He put it up 51 times against Wheaton for 349 yards. And over the last couple of games, 374 yards passing against Allegheny and 381 against Denison. And they may have to resort to that arm. Although here's the quick pass out on the flat on the far side. Pass complete to Nick Dawson. Dawson out to the 35-yard line.
Run out of bounds by Geringer.
If we get a chance, Joe, let's check Casper's numbers. I'm curious to know what he has done today as far as this particular game is concerned, because he was one of the guys that we were going to key on offensively. Play action pass again, pass over the middle. It is completed this time to Ryan Short, and Short is knocked down just shy of the 45-yard line.
And Short made a mistake there. He caught the ball at the 46-yard line. He was a yard beyond the first down marker. He reversed direction to try to get back upfield and was actually tackled a yard shy of the first down. So he caught it for an 11-yard gain, and when he tried to run with it, he ends up with only a 9-yard gain and misses the first down.
We were checking. Kurt Casper has 2 catches for 30 yards. That was the final play of the third quarter. Fourth quarter coming up. David Hill just reached over in my ear and said this could go overtime. It's been a long game already today, which we kind of expected with the way these two ball clubs operate. 14-all. Fourth quarter just getting underway. Penalty marker down before the snap of the football.
We have a dead ball foul. False start against the offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
So the fourth quarter just a second old. Back to throw is Knott again. Knott's got a receiver on the far side. Good enough for the first down. It'll be just shy of the 50-yard line. Officially marked out of the 48.
He's tackled by Corey Partlow.
Has that bell quit ringing since we started this game?
No, it hasn't, and it won't stop ringing until this game's over.
Total yardage in this game, 343 to 232. Wabash has been dominant in that department since the get-go. Not running for his life, may just throw it away. Indeed, he will. Gets out of the pocket and fires it off into the crowd on the far sideline over there. That'll stop the clock at 14:27. Jake last year set 12 school and conference records. He passed for 2,739 yards and 28 touchdowns last year, and he has not slowed down very much this year either. Here is Knott. Quick pass incomplete this time. We're trying to go to Ryan Short. So another important third down situation for Wabash. Joe, you talked about their third down situations earlier on in the telecast, and well, here's a big one right here.
Well, they are 9 of 16 today on third down conversions, and this is a big one.
Third down and 10. Incomplete. All of a sudden, Knott is not having that extra couple of seconds to find. If he can't find the initial receiver, he doesn't have time to look for anybody else right now.
That time they put pressure on with a defensive back, and the safety blitz confused Knott. He had to roll out to his right and no chance to make a good throw on the run.
Val Benoit's protector. Here's the punter, Joe Emmick, getting it away. Not a bad punt at all. Taken back at the 14-yard line.
Got room to run.
Stevens with a little slit up the middle, gets it across the 30 out to the 32 or 3-yard line. Well, this kid's a good football player, David.
All around he is. I believe I wanted to steal him and put him on defense, but they wouldn't let me do it.
I'm here with Steve Marcoux, class of '95. Steve, alumni are very important in the recruiting process. How can alumni get involved?
Alumni can get involved in several ways, but the easiest way to get involved is a simple alumni referral. Alumni can be on the watch for young men who could make potential Wabash students. They send those referrals in 3 ways. Call us at 1-800-345-5385, send it on the website, or just send us a little letter. But Wabash men finding young men out there is the best way they can recruit.
The pass off to Matt King, who already has 1 touchdown reception today. Matt against Blackburn this year rushed for 199 yards on 35 carries. We'll talk more about that in a second right now. Back to throw again is Jason Lee. Here's the little shovel pass again. It's in the hands of Matt King. King comes over the right side and is knocked out of bounds. 1st and 10 situation. The football right on the 45-yard line of the Little Giants of Wabash College. Lee with the pitch out coming to the near side. There's King again. 3 straight times now they've run him. They'll knock him out of bounds. Let me ask both you guys this question. Any fatigue factor on either side of this ball right now? I seem to sense the game has slowed down a little bit defensively.
Well, here's a factor. We always went into this game thinking, okay, Wabash in their last 4 games, they had scored a bunch of points. That means a lot of their starters were sitting down. Not being in a tight ball game, they've got to stay in the ball game. So they may get a little bit more fatigued as the game goes on and stays close.
John. And a fumble! Stevens had it and let it get away. Joe, your thoughts on the fatigue factor just briefly here. Are you noticing it?
A little bit. David makes a good point that the starters have not had to play 4 full quarters for about 6 weeks, but the Wabash defense here not showing any signs of fatigue. Another DePauw turnover, and they get a break. A clip right there that was not called, I thought was going to spring the play, and instead Lonnie Heck reaches in, forces the fumble, and recovers it.
We'll have to check on the turnovers in the game. We have an opportunity. We'll check on the turnovers and see what we've got here, because they just seem to come from everywhere.
Well, that's Lonnie Heck's 2nd fumble recovery of the day.
All right, so Wabash gets it back again. About the time you think you got something going on, it just changes and goes a flip-flop. Left side, Chris Morris again.
Chris Morris, a gain of 3.
12:52 to go here in the 4th quarter of this game. Snap long to Jake Knott. Knott going over the right side will not get to first down territory. At the moment, here's the updated numbers for you. DePauw's turned the ball over 6 times with 4 fumbles and 2 pass interceptions. Now, Wabash done it. Somehow, Joe, I thought there were more than this. 1 fumble and 1 intercept, so we're still looking at 8 turnovers in this game. 3rd down and 1, another big 3rd down play. Now the officials stop the clock for a moment.
Timeout on the field.
We have a timeout by DePauw.
Everybody's standing, clapping, the bells ringing. It's just enormous. I wish I was down there. I always do.
You went to Penn State. Yes. What was the closest rivalry that they would have had at that time during your tenure there?
During my tenure, Nebraska, just about everyone was. Nebraska, Alabama, Notre Dame. Yeah. Miami was a lot like this one. We didn't like each other.
I understand. Quarterback keeper on 3rd down, and I'm not sure they made it. Well, the whistles are blown dead, and Jake still wasn't down. So we'll see when they mark it. The mark will tell us everything. Joe, what do you think? Do you make it?
I don't think he did. That is the usual call for this offense on 3rd and short or 4th and short is Jake Knott on the quarterback keeper. I'm sure DePauw knew that from scouting film and marking tendencies. Yeah. And no, they won't even measure. Jake did not get it. So once again, DePauw's front 4 wins the battle up front.
Now, what do you do if you're Chris Creighton now, your first Monon Bell game?
It looks to me like he's going to go for it, although he may send Jake out there for a hard count to try to pull DePauw off sides and then punt if he can't do it.
And that could be a problem because Allison Jaquette is a guy that sometimes goes offside with a hard count, so he's going to have to be very disciplined here if that's what they do.
Keep an eye on him. Number 99 is Jaquette. Well, they're going for it, they indicate, although, yeah, they did go for it, and yeah, he's going to get it this time. He had to get across the midfield stripe, and that time Knight running behind Melshon and Meeker and Kramer appear to have the first down. Yep.
That's the first time today Wabash has converted a 4th down.
No question.
Not a good snap back there, but it's taken in by Jake Knott. Knott's going to put it up for grabs. He's got a receiver out there, and he is caught at the 5-yard line and fumbled. Well, they're going to call him down about the 2-yard line. Whoa, good break for Wabash.
What a job by Jake Knott. Jason Gehringer came into the backfield untouched on a blitz. Knott spun away from it, held his ground, and we told you that Josh Brunah was the fastest receiver on the team, and you see that here on this replay. Look at Jake with the footwork to elude Gehringer, and what a throw against his body. Led Brunah, who had a step on the defensive back, and the Little Giants in business now, knocking on the door of the go-ahead score.
And a good call by the official because he was indeed down. The coverage wasn't that bad, David, just a good throw.
It was there, but Jake bought time, and actually that should have been a sack by Gehringer. He's taught to run through the inside number, and he did not do that. It cost him a big play.
And there's another flag down, and this looks like it may be against the Little Giants.
Dead ball foul, illegal substitution on the offense, 5 yards, still first down.
That's the second time they've had that illegal substitution penalty called. You can go a month and not see that call. Let's go back down to the sidelines again. Stan, special guest, who's this?
Thanks, Jerry. I'm here with DePauw coach Carla Gaspera, and what's your role today?
I'm here to support the team and to help with crowd control.
There have been precautions taken for the end of the game in the past. What kind of precautions have been taken today?
It's my job to go to the end zone down there and stand and just make sure that students exit out the southwest exit instead of coming onto the field.
No unsportsmanlike conduct yet, Jerry, and we hope there isn't any. Back to you.
Betcha we do.
They better not mess with Carla.
Thanks a lot. That's terrific.
Yeah, don't mess with her, I'm telling you. The conduct on the field now is celebration time as the Wabash Little Giants have just scored for the 3rd time and the first time in a long time. Terrific pass, great protection that time, and a good bullet pass over the middle.
And it was Ryan Short catching his 2nd touchdown pass of the day, his 13th of the year. Those 13 touchdowns tie his own season touchdown reception record, a record he established a year ago. And Jake Knott extends his school record for touchdown passes with 33.
And the point after is good. Omi Olmstead is now 3 out of 3. Let's take a look at it again. Joe Emmick.
This was on a rope, maybe the best ball Jake has thrown all day. This time he has protection. Earlier on this drive, he did not. He had all day to allow Short to come free on the crossing route, and he threw an absolute bullet to his favorite target, the junior from Perry Meridian, Ryan Short. And as Omi Olmstead puts the extra point through, he extends his record for extra points made in a season, and the Little Giants go back on top 21-14, and the big play, the bomb to Brunah with Knott under pressure to set up first down and goal to go.
All right, let's take a look at the scoring drive here, Joe.
6 plays, 60 yards, 2 minutes and 48 seconds. Ryan Short, his 2nd touchdown catch of the day. Jake Knott, his 2nd touchdown pass. And once again, the Little Giants turn a DePauw turnover into points.
Greg Damery with the kickoff that time. He kept it on the ground. It was picked up by one of the up men, number 30, that's Chris Brolsma, out of St. Charles East High School in St. Charles, Illinois.
It looked as though they did not want a big return, but the ball did not get downfield that well, and they got something out of it.
That squib kick is intentional. As I mentioned early on, Todd Bauer has had trouble kicking the ball deep, and they will go to the squib kick to avoid a big return.
All right, here comes the DePauw Tigers. The offense back on the field again. Play action again with Jason Lee trying to buy some time. He's got a receiver wide open to the 35. Breaks free at the 30, down to about the 26 or 27-yard line. That's John Stevens again.
John Stevens, don't count him out. He's going to be a factor. He's been a factor all year long. The kid can catch the ball. He's got great feet and get up the field and move.
Well, I tell you what, we have just seen absolutely some of the most exciting football you can possibly see at any level, disregard Division III or whatever. These kids have come to play today. Here's a look at it again.
Here's the play here, and just a simple ball fake here to draw the linebackers in, and John Stevens sneaks behind the linebackers, catches the ball over the middle, makes a little yardage after the catch. Can't beat it.
First down and 10. The ball is on the 26-yard line. DePauw with the football down in Wabash territory after the Little Giants scored to take that 21-14 lead. Here's the shovel pass again. It gets, well, maybe a yard. Didn't fool anybody that time as he gets right around the 25-yard line. Jason Lee's going to call timeout again.
He's not happy about it either.
Timeout is charged to the Tigers. That's their last timeout.
What happens in that kind of a situation, David? Just some miscommunications on the play coming in that Jason didn't like, or what?
Yeah, you're running guys in and out, and it might not be the kind of play that Jason wants to execute at this point in time. He's got a little bit of leverage to call some things out there. See something he doesn't like, he's been told to call timeout, and they'll figure it out.
The conditions have been absolutely superb. So let's get an injury report. Matt, what you got for us, buddy?
Thanks, Jerry. I'm down on the Little Giants sideline talking to trainer Jack Mansfield. Lonnie Heck had a little head-to-head contact. He's okay. They're checking him out. He's questionable for his return. Back to you, Jerry.
Well, they don't want to lose that guy, I'll guarantee you. Fake on the inside handoff. Here's Lee again. Well, he's running for his life. Runs to the far sideline. Has the pass thrown, but incomplete.
Lee's pass falls incomplete at the 12.
And again, he bought some time there. He was running for his life, and when that happens, you got to look for the open guy, and they did a good job covering downfield.
We've talked about important plays throughout the game. 3rd and 9. Here's Jason Lee's numbers on the day. 19 of 31, 229 yards. We've talked about the fact that he has been over 100 yards in almost every game. Only against Blackburn did he not go for 100. He had only 69 on 7 of 15 in that game. Pass on the near side, underthrown that time. The intended receiver, Andy Toll.
Little Giants got a break there because Toll, when he planted to come back for the ball, slipped down. He was wide open. And DePauw's receivers have done a good job of sitting down in the holes in the Wabash zone in the secondary. That time they get a break. And when DePauw comes to the line, you'll see a group of Wabash players jumping up and down in the background. That's something that Chris Creighton has instituted on this team, is a lot of emotion on the sideline. And a lot of those guys are guys who rarely see the field for this football team, but they're cheering on the starters.
All right, here's the play. It's 4th and 9. Lee got some protection and underthrew his receiver again.
I still like the call here to go for it here on 4th down. There's nothing to hold back in this football game, and you have to take your chances.
Well, now you turn it over to the defensive side of the DePauw alignment, and then you hope that Wabash, contrarily, Joe Emmick, has what it takes, if not to score, at least to eat up a large part of this 9:21 to play. Back down to the field again to Matt Abott.
Thanks, Jerry. I'm here with basketball coach Mac Petty, also honorary Sphinx Club member. What's it feel like?
Well, it's a great honor. I was humbled by it because of my respect for the Sphinx Club. I've known them ever since I've been at Wabash for the last 26 years. I've been to 26 chapel sings. I just know what it's all about, and I really appreciate it.
Great. Thanks, Coach. Good luck this basketball season.
Wabash with a 2nd and 6 now. Pick up a 4 yards by Chris Morris. Here's a give again to Morris around the right side. He's caught in the backfield. May have lost a yard on that play. 8:05 to go here in the ball game. It's 21-14 in favor of Wabash. They have the football, trying to add to it. Here's the pass upfield. It is intercepted. What a terrific pass interception this time. And back across midfield. Is that Tillis? Yeah, it's Justin Tillis. Second interception of the day. Yes, sir. I'd like to see that because it looked to me like that it was tipped and Tillis went to get it that time.
Correct, and we'll see here in a moment.
Here it is, yeah. Bill's got it for us.
I've liked the coverage all day of the corners. It was just a matter of the matchup, and the ball's lofted up there pretty nicely, but he closes on the play and puts himself in position to make a bigger play on this. And then the return is very critical. I'm happy for Justin. He's been in this situation before and not been able to make big plays, and now he is.
Well, that's his 2nd interception of the game. And coming into the game, he didn't have any interceptions. Here's the pass on the near side now. Pass complete. And about the 40-yard line. Reception by John Stevens again.
And what a job by Chad Springer. He was locked up on Dan Ryan. Dan Ryan, 6'4", 220 pounds, while Chad Springer, 6'2", 190 pounds, and Springer fought him off and made the tackle for a short gain. And this is one of those sudden change opportunities we talked about earlier. One of those opportunities where Wabash likes to hit the button emotionally and come up with a big play when the opponent starts in their own territory.
Chad Springer listed as the backup at cornerback to Dustin Deno. Here's the shovel pass out of the near side again. Well, they've run a lot of plays to the right side of the field this afternoon. That's Brolsma with the football. He'll stop the clock with 7:03 to go in the 4th quarter. It looks to be shy of the 1st down. It'll make it 3rd and 1. They're 15th in the nation in passing with an average of right at 305 yards per game. Keep it on the ground. Left side, Matt King.
Matt King's becoming a workhorse.
He has.
He's carrying the ball, catching the ball, and doing some things.
Matt King over the left side gets the first down. 1st and 10. The clock has moved inside 7 minutes. We talked about the offense of DePauw, 281 total points during the season. That's the 5th most in school history. So as Joe and I were talking and David and I were talking, both teams have put some offensive numbers on the board throughout this football season. Lee faking the handoff right over the middle. That's the guy he faked the handoff to, Matt King. King takes it down inside the 15 to about the 12. That's a good sustained drive here now for the DePauw Tigers.
That's the 3rd time here in the 4th quarter. Jason Lee's thrown a screen pass to King after he had play faked to King. Little Giant linebackers losing King on the play fake. They need to pick him up and stop that screen.
Yeah, they were within, what, 10 yards of him that time, Joe. 2nd and 2. 6:14 to go now in the game, and a 21-14 lead for Wabash. King again. He's hit at the line of scrimmage, and I don't think made it that time.
Nate Boulay, middle linebacker, the junior out of Ben Davis. We've called his name a couple of times today. Made the stop, and he is one of the guys on this defense you look to come up with a big play at crunch time, and he did it there.
3rd and 2. And what you're seeing is what we've seen the entire game. Jason Lee getting the team to the line of scrimmage and then taking the time, a la Peyton Manning, to set the offense up. Oh, a terrific defensive play that time by Josh Stanton. Puts a stop to that play in a hurry. Stanton with help from Nick Finelli at the linebacking spot.
Lost yardage was not something that they wanted to see happen. Here we go.
We have called Stanton's name all day long. He is the leading sack man on this team. And as we mentioned, just 203 pounds. He's built like a defensive back, and he plays defensive end, and he has dominated DePauw's tackles up front. Great play that time from Josh Stanton, who has 39.5 tackles coming into today and has had a monster game.
Gentlemen, this might be your ball game right here.
Haven't heard from Dan Ryan in a while.
Lee trying to get free. He fumbled the football. We're going to say he is down. They will say he is down. Same basic end result, though. DePauw loses the football.
No question. And protection is breaking down a little bit and causing Jason to have to scramble around out there. And that's a very key component of this football game is protection.
We have talked about the fact that Jake Knott has not had much time, nor has Jason Lee here.
Matt Mercer and Nathan Boulay combine on the sack. Mercer getting pressure up front. Boulay fires in behind him, and they make the sack. And once again, this Little Giant defensive front getting the job done. We talked about sudden change opportunities, stopping the opponent after a sudden change, and the Little Giants gave you a perfect illustration of that on this last DePauw drive.
And those same Little Giants keep the football on the ground that time. What they're going to try to do now, I would assume, David, they'd like to pick up first down. Scoring, they don't care about right now. Just eat that clock up.
Not necessary for them to score right here, but they'd love to pick out a couple first downs running the ball. DePauw has done a good job stopping the run, so it'll be interesting here to see if DePauw can get the ball back quickly.
Wabash trying to put a stop to a 5-game losing streak, which matches the longest losing streak of all time. Now, DePauw at one time went 8 games, well, actually 10 games. They had 8 wins and 2 ties in a 10-game scheme, but only have they won 5 consecutive times, and they're on a 5-game streak right now.
Right.
Not. Pass complete. Across the 35, 36-yard line.
That is how Wabash will need to move the chains. They would love to run the ball and run out the clock.
They have put DePauw in bad field position.
Exactly, and that's exactly what they're looking to do. And DePauw's going to have to do something. They've got to shut these crossing routes off. They've had trouble with that all day.
3.5 minutes to go in the game. Pull back up the middle that time. A couple of yards again, and again, that's perfectly okay as far as Chris Creighton is concerned, because right now that clock is his ally.
And DePauw out of timeouts.
Yes, there we go. We mentioned earlier they might be wishing they had those as the game winds down, and they've got none left. They had to use them.
We've talked about Ryan Short all day long. That last catch for the first down, his 10th catch of the day for 102 yards.
He's just been sensational today. As have a number of players on both sides of the ball. Now we're less than 3 minutes to go from the final gun here at DePauw University on Monon Bell Game 2001. Nothing doing on the right side.
Dawson on the carry.
But again, the clock just keeps right on ticking.
Right. Nothing they can do to stop it right now other than stop the drive.
Yep. 3rd down and 6. So here we go again with an important 3rd down situation. I would think, David, that if they don't make it, they will have to punt it. This is not 4-down territory.
No, I wouldn't believe they would try to do that. So if they get a stop here, the DePauw defense gets a stop here, they'll get the football back with some time.
Down to 2:15 to go. Big play for Wabash again. Thought I saw some movement, maybe not. They will not get the first down.
Stopped short of the first down.
Not held on to the football, no flag, so everything was legal. Now we'll see what the decision makers on the sideline will do. They're gathered around head coach Chris Creighton, and I've got to believe that Joel Loneman will be out there. Here's a look at the play again.
Not on a design quarterback run. Ran into Tom Meeker, his center, and couldn't get the route to run. He thought stopped a yard short, and indeed Loneman will be on to punt it away. I don't think there's any question about the decision.
Yep, I agree, Joe.
This punt return team needs to stay on side.
They do. Here is the punt by Loneman. Loneman gets it away. It's a high, wobbly kick that'll hit out of bounds. They're going to put this thing probably around the 30. They've walked to the 33. They're up to the 35. They're up to the 39-yard line.
Minute 22. And, you know, one of the things that's critical about these types of offenses is that you design this with the idea that you have the ability to come from behind if you need to.
All right, let's go back down to field side again. Here's Stan.
Thanks, Jerry. I'm here with Gene Gephardt, who was the quarterback of the 1951 team. And Gene, what kind of pressure must DePauw quarterback Jason Lee be feeling right now?
Well, a lot. They got the ball back, but they have no timeouts in all game. It's tough to play a shotgun offense, no huddle, because the quarterback has total responsibility for that kind of offense.
We'll see what DePauw can do. Back to you, Jerry.
And Lee just throws it away. Boy, he had terrific defensive pursuit that time. Who was that, Joe? Was that Heck again?
It was Brad Taphorn.
Taphorn? Boy, he came busting in there, and Lee is getting no time to throw the football.
I cannot say enough about the play of Wabash's defensive ends today. Josh Stanton and Brad Taphorn have been dominant up front, and they clearly are the defensive MVPs if Wabash goes on to win this game.
Lee's got a little time, throws it over the middle, up to the midfield stripe. Angling left side, good running room from Matt King.
They'll have to get up over the ball.
45. Now they'll stop the clock.
They'll stop the clock to move the chains. They'll have to be ready to go to take advantage of that first down.
Quickly on the field, Andy Toll comes in at one of the wideout spots. They've got Reinhardt in there, set to the very far right side. You had a good look at the backfield. There's the time left in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Lee running for cover. Lee's going to throw it away again. That's the only thing he can do to stop the clock right now, David. He has no timeouts left.
That's it. And, you know, smartly enough, he got rid of the football, but they're going to have to find somebody downfield at some point in time. Now, we haven't heard from Dan Ryan in a while. Now, you got to look for him. He's a big target. Certainly got to go down the field a little bit and catch the ball over the middle.
So Jonathan Yost, big 6'2", 265-pound sophomore backup at left guard, coming out onto the field. They split Andy Toll wide to the right side. Slot to the left side right now, and here's a big play with 59.5 seconds to go. Monon Bell game. Boy, this has been some kind of a game. Over the middle again. Pass is caught.
It's a first down.
And that'll stop the clock again. It's down to the 23-yard line. The pass completion to John Stevens.
John Stevens, again, I told you he would be a factor. I think everybody knew that. Here's a replay. Perhaps.
We may not have time the way they're running this offense right now. There's your story up in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. 54 seconds to play. They've wound the clock. A kick again on the inside handoff. Running for his life is Lee. He will throw it away again. Lee's, you're saying, well, boy, he's off the mark. He's doing exactly what he has to do right now.
He absolutely cannot take a sack in this situation, so he's got to get rid of the ball.
Let's take a look at this last big successful play for the Tigers here.
Okay. He's going to be looking for John Stevens down the line here because this is his big play guy.
Joe, a question, what kind of a defense is Wabash throwing up there? Have they softened up, or what's going on right now?
It's the same look they've been giving, but I'm wondering why they're biting on play action. You know DePauw's not going to run the ball without any timeouts left.
Here's a pass thrown away. This time, not a good pass by Jason Lee. He had a receiver out there in Reinhardt, just flat missed him. Now that stops the clock with 44-2. 3rd down and 10. Field goal does no good, of course. A 21-14 ball game. Wabash trying to put a stop to a 5-game losing streak in the Monon Bell game.
You can't ask for anything better than this.
No,
it's coming down to a final series of plays. This is how the Monon Bell game is all. That's what it's all about.
Well, this has been something that not a single body has left this Blackstock Stadium here this afternoon, and why should they? Game clock now down to 6 seconds. Play clock. Now they go over the middle again. If they can get the first down, they can get the clock stopped. The pass complete to Matt King.
They got a first down. Now I'm going to tell you something down here. Be aware of Dan Ryan inside the 10-yard line with the fade route. That is his patented play, and he's capable of making any kind of play with 2 defenders on him if they can get him the football. Watch for Dan Ryan in the fade route or the corner route here.
Well, they're ready to go, but the chain gang hasn't hit the spot yet. Well, they're going to start it anyway. Lee is back over the middle, down to the 1-yard line.
Time is a factor now. They got to get over the ball.
They can get up there in a hurry and spike it. You can probably hear some of the noise going on in the press box up here with some of the coaches and some of the various people. Over the left side, Stevens.
This is a touchdown. Oh, my goodness. We're going to have overtime. I told you, Jerry. It's never over in this thing. And I'm looking at my partner, Joe, over there, and he's just pondering. But he's all right.
Oh, man.
It's interesting. It's unbelievable.
Oh, man.
Unbelievable.
Well, that's where the no-huddle offense pays off for DePauw. They run it the entire game. Then when they need it in a 2-minute drill without timeouts, it's like old hat.
Exactly.
Plus, Joe, it never let Wabash make any defensive adjustments. None whatsoever. Here is the all-important point after. Ben Murray, he is 2 out of 2. He is 24 of 32 on the year. It is up, it is.
Yes. And Ben has had some problems with that kick. You would think it's automatic, but it's never really automatic, and Ben has had trouble, but he puts it through there. And we've got a heck of a game going on here in Greencastle.
You know, it's funny to talk a little inside talk here because we were talking, Bill and the rest of us, before the game, what if the scenario this, scenario that, and the last thing we talked about was, well, what about overtime?
Right.
And you don't really plan on that, but man, we're looking at it right now. Here's the touchdown again.
Very surprising call. He went right to a play here, and it just looks like a simple gut play, as they call it. Right off tackle. Right behind the guard, actually. And there's a seam there for Matt King. Matt King's tough. He'll put his head in there, and he'll get guarded.
That Stevens kid is something else. 140 yards rushing against Rhodes, 153 against Hanover, 103 at Hope, 116 against Center. He's had punt returns and kickoff returns and receptions. Let's take a look at the scoring drive here.
Interesting here. 7 plays. Yeah, 55 yards. A minute 22. That was critical. They had to score quickly, and they got it done in that no-huddle offense.
You know, over the last 3 years, I've learned that my buddy Joe Emmick over here needs some kind of medication because it's like a roller coaster in here, and I love it because the emotion, and you brought the same thing in, David. It's just, you just know this game is over.
I brought Joe some medication.
Did you bring some
for him?
I used it already.
It's all gone.
What a day. What a day. Now we're looking at overtime right in the face here, barring some kind of a marvelous return by Wabash. Now what do? Do you put it on the ground?
If they kick this deep, I'll be very surprised. Kick it along the ground, no big return. And cover.
That's what they've done. A little bullet pass picked by one of the up men at the 33-yard line and knocked out at the 38-yard line with 10.2 seconds remaining.
Okay. Now, don't be surprised. I would expect them to take a shot downfield, no doubt about it. And so the defensive backs have to be aware of that, and they have to watch for tipped balls getting behind them. Anything can happen in that situation. They have to look to knock the football down if it's in the air. Just knock it to the ground.
You know what? If you don't like this, you just don't like football. Just forget about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah? Volleyball or whatever your choice may be, bowling or something, but this has been something else. Now, Wabash will use one of their timeouts. We really thought that DePauw had made a terrible mistake when they used up all those timeouts, but they somehow still made it work. Let's go back down to the field again. These guys have been putting in double duty also. Stan, what's going on down there?
Jerry, I'm here with Kevin Flynn, class of 1975. Can you remember a more exciting game?
I cannot. The last time I was here was the 100th game, and it was a great day, but nothing like this.
Now, you were an all-conference player. Who on DePauw do you believe has played like they deserve that honor today?
Well, the whole team. It's been a group effort today, and against some really great talent on the Wabash side, and it's a team effort today.
Overtime might decide this game, Jerry. Back to you.
All right, Joe was just pointing out to me there's been a substitution made on the Wabash side of the football.
David Sutherland, he was in on the last series actually. He's Chris Morris's backup at tailback. He is bigger and faster than Morris. He is much like a wide receiver rather than a tailback, and he is in, no doubt, to add another receiving element to this final play for the Little Giants. And by the way, we may see history if this game goes to overtime, the first overtime game in the history of the Monon Bell Classic.
Hard to believe.
Sutherland is a sophomore running back, 6'1", 195 from Centennial High School in Champaign, Illinois. Yeah, it is hard to believe over all the years they've never had this. Of course, it always hasn't been an overtime situation. Here we go. Jake Knott. Knott coming over the middle.
Oh, my goodness.
Hit. Pass complete to Kurt Casper, and Casper got nailed. And I mean big-time nail that time. Let's hope that Kurt is okay. He is quickly up off the ground.
He popped up real good.
Jake Knott wanted to go downfield, instead goes to the underneath route, and Casper paid the price for going over the middle. The biggest hit of the day right there.
He might have a few words to say to Jake when he gets back to the huddle.
That was Corey Partlow from Plainfield that made that tackle that time.
Sir.
Wow. Now we're down to 2.7, so this is merely a matter of throwing it up and hoping for two things. Number one, an incomplete pass if you don't catch it, or a pass, an incomplete pass, or defensive pass interference of some defensive penalty of some kind.
And you have to guard against that.
Yep. So Jake Knott is out there throwing up some grass. Jake, I think it's a little far for the field goal unit right now, but another timeout. And the DePauw unit gathered around their coaching staff. Same with Wabash. Well, the atmosphere here at Blackstock today, David, has just been everything we anticipated. When you go to Wabash, it's the same doggone thing. You just can cut it with a knife, and it's been fun.
It's a wonderful. And would be the mask.
Our guys down at the sideline, Stan Jastrzebski and Matt Abed, have talked to about everybody there is. I don't think they're set for overtime either.
They're running out of gas.
They have no gas.
My kids are down there.
Are they down there?
Oh, yeah, somewhere down there.
I got it. All right, here we go. The final play, barring a penalty of regulation time. We'll see what happens here. Jake Knott at quarterback, one protector back. Knott's going to let it fly. Here it goes. It is in the air, and it is caught.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my goodness.
It is the very thing that you thought wouldn't happen, and what an unbelievable end to the football game. What an unbelievable end.
The senior Kurt Casper, who was quiet the entire day, catches the deflection from Ryan Short.
Unbelievable.
Kurt Casper, the second leading receiver all time for the Little Giants, had been shut down all day long, and he catches the deflected pass for the game winner.
Oh my goodness.
Unbelievable.
We have talked, guys, all day long about sensational individual efforts and plays, and we just saw another one. Here it comes. This is going down for posterity.
Wow.
Look at it again. Joe, you take it, then we'll get David's comments likewise. Here we go.
Jake Knott threw it downfield. He threw it well short. He threw on his run, on the run. He wanted Ryan Short. You see Ryan squaring to the ball. It bounces off Ryan Short at the 6, and Kurt Casper is right there to catch it for the game-winning touchdown.
Wow.
David?
And the very thing that I tried to say before the play took place was that you got to be in a position to knock that football down. When you tip it and it tips backwards, anything can happen. And I mean, unbelievable.
Here it is again. Now, I don't know if this tip was intentional. I'd like to think it was, but man.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I don't think it was.
No, I don't know. It may have been a design play for him to tip that ball up, and with his size, he can do that, get up there, tip the ball, and you've got to cover for the guy behind him. And that didn't happen.
Jerry, you noticed the two teams shaking hands after the game. If you remember what happened a couple of years ago in Crawfordsville with a melee after the game, tables being turned over, fights breaking out. The two schools have worked exceptionally hard to return sportsmanship to this rivalry, and that the two teams, after a game like this, can shake hands without any trouble is a testament to the presidents, athletic directors, and coaches of the two schools.
You're right, because the emotions had absolutely hit their zenith when that pass reception was made, and if they can walk out there now and say hello to each other, this is a giant step for both institutions.
It's impressive. It definitely is. You don't want to see the kind of mess you saw in '96, and I guess Joe and I got to shake hands now too.
All right, let's. I understand we have the coach down on the sideline. No, we don't have him. He took off. Well, maybe we will have a chance to talk with the coaches here. The DePauw team directly below our broadcast vantage point gathered around their coaching staff. They are heartbroken. The Wabash fans are on the field, and why not?
And they deserve that. They played a heck of a football game, and in 5 years, 5 bells, you start to believe something's got to give, you know, and something spectacular happened here today. We saw a heck of a football game, and that's all it is.
You remember what I made a comment? We might, you talked to Joe about individual players that you're not aware of stepping up. Remember I said we might see one particular incident, one play turn this game around? I didn't have any idea it'd be like this. I got to be honest with you.
You see the Wabash players in the end zone going to get the bell to bring it back to the Wabash campus for the first time in 5 seasons. There is not a single player or coach in this Wabash program who has experienced winning the Monon Bell.
All right, let's go back and look at this again. They're going to be showing this forever and ever. Here we go. Last play of the game, just under 3 seconds to go.
And again, Ryan Short at about the 5-yard line tips it right back to Kurt Casper in the corner of the end zone for the Hail Mary to win it 27-21. And I'll tell you what, Jerry, this is a win that now officially makes Jake Knott one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I heard several people this week saying, yeah, he's the all-time leading passer, but he's 0-2 in the Monon Bell game. Well, you can wipe that out. He has the bell, and he has the record.
And we have him. Jake Knott down to the field. Let's go down there.
Jerry, I'm with Jake Knott. Jake now 1-2 in Monon Bell games. Describe that last play for us.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a play that coach has told us to believe in all year. We practice it every Thursday and every Friday. And the plan is get our big, tall basketball player down there, have him tip it up, and see what happens with the guys behind him. I don't know what happened. I got lit good on the sideline. And I was on the sideline all of a sudden, everybody went nuts. I didn't know. I thought there was no way, but I'll tell you what a way to end your career for Kurt Casper. He had a chance to become the Wabash all-time leading receiver today and didn't get it, and he doesn't care about that stuff because I guarantee he feels a lot better about that bell right now.
I saw you make a point and go over and find Jason Lee on the DePauw sidelines after you. What does that friendship rivalry mean to you?
Well, Jason and I have had some problems from baseball and football in the past, and I was just trying to get rid of all that. It's not worth going through life. Living with rivalries like that. He's a good player. I mean, he did everything he could to put his team. That was an unbelievable drive by him on that last drive, and I'm sure he's sore right now, but he had a good career, and he's a good player, and I just want to tell him, he did all he could do. That wasn't in his hands.
What will it mean to you when you finally get a chance to ring that Monon Bell?
I don't know. I'll let you know tonight about midnight when I'm ringing that bell, having a good time.
Jake Knott, Wabash's all-time passing leader, and now a Monon Bell victor. Back to you, Jerry.
All right, Stan, thank you. Jake, congratulations. Here is the scoring drive. Only 2 plays, 61 yards, and our speculation that was a set play, I think rings true.
He confirmed that. I saw, and you see on the replay where he simply tipped it backwards, and it was a smart play.
You know what? I haven't seen all that many Monon Bell games in my history, and a lot of these folks that we talked to today that Stan and Matt talked to have, but this has to be among the top 3 or 4 of all time.
No question about it. I've seen quite a few myself. I don't know that there was a better game in the country today. I doubt it. This should be on every news station around.
All right, David, I enjoyed working with you. Terrific.
It's a pleasure.
Best of luck to you, the NCAA. Joe, you okay?
I'm doing quite well.
Give me back my medicine,
Thank
Joe.
you very much. I'm doing quite well. This is the 14th game I've covered on either radio or television, and there's no question this is absolutely the best Monon Bell game I've ever seen. And how about Kurt Casper? You talk about players who are retiring from professional sports or seniors winning their last game. Kurt Casper's last play was with the ball in his hands to win his first Monon Bell.
Well, to Joe Emmick and David Hill, thoroughly professional gentlemen I've had a chance to work with today, is Stan Jastrzebski down at the sideline along with Matt David and a whole cast of thousands, all our directors, producers, and stat people who don't get perhaps to enjoy the game like we get to. They've done a marvelous fabulous job on an absolutely perfect day, and if you're a Wabash fan, it doesn't get any better than this. So there's your final score, 27-21 in favor of the Little Giants. We'll see you again next year for the Monon Bell game. Jerry Baker saying goodbye for the rest of our crew.